God, why do I always get messages?
Yo, we got to talk about weird shit.
We could, but I mean, what do you consider? Hold on.
Just for a moment.
What do you consider weird shit? Weird stuff.
We got to talk about weird stuff. I'll tell you what I consider weird. That we did an episode on the movie Weird Science.
Okay.
Randomly.
Uh-huh.
And the day that we did it was the anniversary of its release.
The 37th anniversary, yeah. It's crazy, huh? You didn't plan for this, right? You just to let people know.
You crazy? I only found out because of Alexander.
I am crazy.
Yeah. I had no idea. It was freaky. And then before that, the thing with the Bobcat, I was obsessed with Bobcat. And then he's born on my birthday.
Oh, dude, that's insane.
Right?
Yeah.
This kind of stuff keeps happening. Like there's something like that every single episode.
Yeah.
But the big ones that stand out are, Harry Reid, who I just mentioned. And now there's a couple more, but so what is that about, man? I want to tell you what I think. I want to see if you agree or you got some other idea.
Okay.
So we're struggling to get the word out about us, right? And about our brilliance. We just want the world to benefit from our genius.
Yeah.
But how can they do that if they don't know about us, right?
Yeah.
And so, we've been struggling with that.
Yeah.
And so it gets discouraging. But but then you get these kind of things, these weird synchronicities, which makes me think somebody's trying to tell us to continue.
Yeah. Hashem for sure is.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's what I think. What do you think?
I think it's that. And I also think that, because for me, on a very, when you strip it all down, Hashem is, the essence of Hashem is, seeing Hashgacha Pratis every day in your life. And so the people who are, I guess, at least trying to connect to the essence of what Hashem is. Again, I'm not saying we're tzaddikim here, or Baba Sali or anything of that sort. On top of that, the people who are constantly at least trying to have the consciousness of waiting for Mashiach, wanting Mashiach, trying to see Mashiach in, I don't know, things that are going into water and then going into space within a nanosecond. Like today, you point, I think, what was it? I sent you a video of they made an ad in California, to tell people how to prepare or what to do in the event of a nuclear attack. And then you said, oh, so these things are pretty useful, huh? These So
what Greg is describing, he sent me this video yesterday, which is apparently a commercial that they're showing on the West Coast.
The real commercial, Ventura, California.
Yeah, where it's like a public service announcement, which kind of not very serious. They're trying to make light of it, but essentially it's a service announcement for people on how to survive a nuclear attack.
Yeah.
Like you see this guy walking on the street, so there's a blast and a mushroom cloud in the background.
Yeah.
And they make it like some kind of sitcom.
Yeah.
Type thing.
Like an 80s sitcom intro and then
something like that. Goofy. They made it goofy and silly. Just go inside. I don't know if you have farm animals, maybe you should put them in the barn.
Yeah.
So I responded to Greg with, I said those UAPs are looking pretty good right now, right? The reason I said that was because there are undeniable cases, right, where we've gotten information that these things have come and shut off nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
In the United States on many occasions, and we actually have confirmed. There's probably more, but we have at least one confirmed situation in the Soviet Union where they came and turned on the nuclear missiles for a few minutes, and then they turn them off again.
Yeah. So you wrote to me, yeah, you see these things are useful. So just to get kind of back to the original point, like when we're at least trying to connect to the source of everything, then no matter what, even if we're failing, succeeding, trying, running up a hill and falling down the hill, taking one step forward, two steps back, at the end of the day, the source is going to keep sending us signals that he sees us, it sees us,
Yeah.
And it sees what we're doing. And to be honest with you, I mean, I hope we succeed, at least, maybe monetarily or in terms of notoriety, but even if we don't just yet, I think that it's almost as if what we're doing, sometimes I think about this, I'm thinking to myself, like, if Mashiach comes today, I think one of the first things that's going to be, how should I put this? There's going to be, let's say, like the worldwide trials and all these kind of things. But apart from that, I think our podcast is almost, I feel like it's going to be played on loop, not one episode, like different episodes. And people are going to seek out, they're going to be shown, okay, like how everything that we've had in society, whether it's music and movies and all these different things, good and bad, tznius, not tznius, is all a spiritual projection. All it is Hashem either bringing Shechina or it's a manifestation of Sitracha, which is also Hashem. And so, if no one else is doing, no one else is like our friend Alexander said, if no one else is, digging out the sparks or digging out, I don't remember the language that he used, but basically like getting into the machinery of it, we're the only ones doing it.
We are the only ones doing it.
We're literally the only ones showing you how every movie and every piece of music you've ever seen is from Hashem. Again, whether it's kedusha or tuma, because that's also from Hashem. We're the only ones that are going into, like you say, going into the wiring. So if in a world where Mashiach exists or will exist, I think the only relevant podcast would be ours. The only relevant, like,
unless somebody else is doing it too, and I don't see that.
I don't see it. Like my friend and I, we were attempting to do it also, meaning we were doing it. Our my friend Nachliel, we did tasting in Torah. We also talk about movies and all these kind of things. His rabbi, actually, Rabbi Matis Weinberg, kind of does it a little bit in his Dvar Torahs and his Parsha books.
I think
to the maximum that he can.
Anava tries to do it with.
Anava tries to do it,
but he's not very knowledgeable. Like
that's what I'm saying. You have to be, and again, I'm not tooting our horn. I'm just saying that it's almost as if Hashem had us ingest all of this seemingly nonsensical information
in mass quantities.
In mass quantities and in great detail, actually.
And be very more affected by it than most.
More affected emotionally, psychologically, memory-wise, in terms of memory recall.
Yeah.
Because how the hell?
Right. Exactly.
And also not only that, I noticed like it's almost like we find relevance in not only the obscure. Like, dude, honestly, I'm surprised you didn't bring up that show Sliders, until recently, because that show Sliders is probably, I just saw some clips of it. I remember, it's funny, I'll tell you something, like when I was in my teens and younger, I didn't really have a consciousness or understanding of all the things that we're talking about now. I really didn't. I actually didn't even have a consciousness of it until I started learning Torah. And then I actually, ironically, started understanding or seeing value in some of the things my leftist friends were saying, because some of the things my leftist friends were saying at that time, in the early 2000s, are actually things, which actually is relevant to, we were talking about LaRouche.
Yeah.
It's funny because the leftists stopped saying those things. Or maybe the leftists at the time were saying them and the new leftists are not saying them anymore. Being against war, talking about the military industrial complex. That was a very leftist Bernie Sandersite kind of.
No, I disagree. They say those things depending on what they need at the moment.
I know.
Sometimes, very often, they need a war. They're going to stop saying that.
I'll tell you something, man.
These ideas, being anti-war and being anti the military-industrial complex, in reality, is a right-wing, American-style right-wing idea.
It's an isolationist idea.
Yes. I just wanted to quickly just state that right-wing means something completely different in the United States than almost everywhere else. Right-wing in the United States is not a ethnic thing. It's not a racial thing. It's a cultural thing. Okay, America is a culture. There are many people who came from many different backgrounds who have adopted what I call, really, I really believe, the American spirit. They've ingested it and it's absorbed into them, and that's what an American is. And the right wing, that's what American right wing is. Okay, and the right wing ideas, the American right wing ideas, they are somewhat isolationist. Actually, no, they are, and there's nothing wrong. That's become a dirty word, like people are scared of using it. Isolationist just means you stick to your own borders, you mind your own business, you have closed borders, you let people become citizens if they go through the correct process. You don't get involved in foreign conflicts. Okay, unless there's absolute atrocity going on, and you feel, and then you can create a volunteer force, which can feel free and go to help people if necessary, which anybody can do anyway, right? Like in Ukraine, you had people from all over the world go fight for the Ukrainians. So, if people feel so strongly about a foreign conflict, then get off your ass, organize, a group of people and go there and help them. Like this whole idea of we have to send our boys. Oh, we got to go. Why don't you go help them? Why are you going to send somebody else's son to go
armchair generals?
To get their dicks blown off.
Yeah.
Because you felt some kind of, and then you immediately forgot about it, right? And I'm sorry to use such a extreme, but that's literally what happens. You understand? When you send soldiers over there, they lose their genitals. Yeah. IEDs explode. They lose their arms, their legs. Even if they come back alive, their lives are. Anyway, so basically, okay, isolation is good. Okay.
Yeah, and, but what I was getting at is that I don't remember.
Yeah, I actually took more than a moment. I got out of hand. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. No, man. So I was just kind of trying to convey that, like, I really forgot where I was going with this, man. You threw me off completely.
I know that was a dick move. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Yeah, man. So we're getting into the wiring of it.
I remember, how we got into it. You were talking about Lyndon H. LaRouche, leftists, stuff that they were saying, and I was just arguing.
Yeah. I was just saying how, like, I didn't really have a consciousness of these things until really I started learning Torah. And when I started learning Torah, and in particular Pnimius and Hasidus and Kabbalah, it got me to see all of the inner workings of how everything works, really, the MS, or it got me to see right through of everything that I was seeing on TV, on the news, and all these kind of things. Um, yeah, and oh, on top of that, when I made Aliyah, it's one thing I noticed when you live in a particular country and you watch the news, it's almost like a family. You think everything that's happening, let's say in your family, is obviously you see that, like, for good and for bad, whatever it is, but you think it's like normal. You don't think there's any dysfunction necessarily. Even if you do, you kind of just accept it, right? So then when you step out, or somebody like outside of a family looks at from outside looking in, they can see the dysfunction very clearly. Like for me, like when I made Aliyah and then I started watching America from the outside as a person who's physically like in a different country.
Yeah.
I was like, my God, this place is about to collapse. Just like people watch Israel and they think everything's, there's like bombings, place is about to explode, but it's not true, obviously. It also goes for that whole, I don't know the name of the effect, but it's basically wherever you're not, you see the news of wherever you're not, it looks horrible because that's how they present it, right?
Yeah.
But even so, like, dude, like I remember as soon as I started, I went to yeshiva, started learning Torah, started kind of seeing through everything. And then I remember, again, telling my family, this is when Obama got reelected, for example, that like basically, it's done. And people made fun of me. People called me, Varona, all this kind of stuff, the crow that makes noise. But I already saw the trajectory at that time. I didn't even, we didn't even see CRT at that time. We didn't even see any of these things, critical race theory and all this gender, schmender, all this stuff. But I already saw.
We saw the stuff. Okay, critical race theory. We didn't see these terms, but all the stuff existed. Like
the stuff existed, but we didn't even know kind of what. First of all, we didn't know really what to make of it. The media was not, and corporations were not pushing it as hard as they have been since Trump got in. It was all happening kind of like snake in the grass style, under the surface. But I noticed that it almost seems like the media didn't hold, Obama and whoever else accountable for anything. Literally, there was no accountability for anything. They could just do stuff with impunity, whether it's say things, do things, send a guy like Dinesh D'Souza to prison for, for making a movie about his family. They conjured up some, what did he do? They said he had some kind of campaign, raised funds illegally or something like that, or tax, I don't know, something with taxes. They sent him to prison for a year.
Complete nonsense.
Yeah, complete BS. But like, just because he went to, Obama's father's side of the family in Africa and made a whole movie about them. To the brother that.
Listen, the reason we talked about why the Democrats, or not the whatever, I'm talking about the uniparty liberals and the globalists, why they get away with that. Yeah. Because it's the psyop, right? And how do they make the psyop work so successfully? Because they made us, and not me, but just large portions of the country, they caused us to make a sound. Yeah. Remember? We talked about it. Eddie Murphy, right? No, so basically, no. Remember that routine where he was saying that if a guy makes a woman feel a certain way, if he causes her to make a certain sound, right? When during their private.
That they're talking about the okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Which means he made her feel the right way, the way that she needs to feel, right?
She'll say nothing. She'll notice nothing.
From that point on, he can literally do anything.
He can do whatever he wants. Yeah.
Right? He could literally, be caught cheating by her. Yeah. Right?
And he says, "It wasn't me."
Fully aroused, and says, "It wasn't me," and she'll believe it. She'll accept it because he made her feel. That's what the left has done through entertainment.
He describes it. The guy runs out of the house naked with.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to class it up a little.
Yes, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, that's what they are. They're totally naked, and half the people at least can see that there's a problem, but I don't know, maybe more than that. Who knows?
You know what I mean? But here's the only thing that one of the things that we may have going for us. They haven't made her feel that way in a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but she might end up being like Sharon Stone, in Casino. Remember with what was it, James Woods' character, Lester? He was like her pimp when she was a kid, and she was like completely like she did whatever he asked. She was like he was like almost like a cult leader.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Wait, who was this? Sorry, did I got
this movie Casino. You've seen Casino?
Oh yeah.
Remember Sharon Stone?
Yes.
Remember
Yes.
she was married to to De Niro's character, but she was still going to see Lester.
Yes. Yeah.
The guy who pimped her out when she was 12.
The guy who looks like somebody just pooped him out. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's
that's what the character looked like.
Yeah. That's what the left looks like.
That's James Woods.
Yeah, man. It's almost like I said it earlier.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine. No problem whatsoever. But it's okay. So yeah, so that's why they've been able to get away with it, entertainment. Yeah. The vast majority of the hard work was done by entertainers. Just the other day, my dad was telling me about a joke. No, he saw Yakov Smirnoff on a cruise.
Mm-hmm. What a country!
What the country!
Right? I landed, and the first thing I saw was a billboard, and it says "America loves Smirnoff," and I said, "Wow,
what a country!" He said, "I saw was it an advertisement? It was for a furniture store where they said, we guarantee all our products and we stand behind our furniture." And he goes, "Stand behind our furniture?" Because that's why I left Russia. I don't want anybody standing behind my furniture. Something like that, right? So, no, but right. So I was looking for Yakov Smirnoff on YouTube clips, and like he was on Johnny Carson, and I'm looking at on Johnny Carson. And right away, he starts making like clear leftist anti-Reagan jokes.
Yeah.
Iran Contra, all that. What I'm not.
Dude, if you want, I can play it. I can play the whole thing.
But hold on, I just wanted to qualify something. Whether or not Iran Contra was a thing, I'm not commenting on that. I'm just saying that it became a leftist talking point. It became a part of their rhetoric.
Yeah, of course.
Right. And it's like an echo chamber, like when all of these leftists. So he's part of that. Even Yakov Smirnoff. That motherfucker.
You would think that he would.
I can't believe it. Yeah. What about Anyway, continue, please.
Can I play this for you? This.
Yeah, sure.
This is him on car. This is Yakov Smirnoff on car.
I think it's a long clip, though, man. I think.
Let's see. It's interesting. He went to like Branson, Missouri, and started like a theater there, and that's where he performs. All right, here we go.
About 8 years ago, he works out regularly at the Comedy Store in Hollywood.
Very quiet.
And he'll be appearing
Can you hear
December 9th at the Miami Beach Performing Arts, and the 8th of December at the Playhouse Theater in Winnipeg, Canada. Would you welcome, please, Yakov Smirnoff?
I don't know why they have to play that song, but okay. So
Moscow Nights.
Yeah.
My name is Yakov Smirnoff. I am a comedian from Russia.
Oh, this is him doing stand up there?
This is on Carson. No, on Carson.
Is he a guest or he's doing a stand up?
It's just stand up. Oh, you're talking about when he was a guest?
I'm talking about when he was a guest. He was sitting.
Oh, there was one where he's a guest. Oh, here. There's this 1988. This is it. So first he does this. He is. Yeah, here we go. He's a guest. He's wearing a shiny suit.
Yeah, something like that.
Very shiny. That's so annoying.
Moscow Nights?
Moscow Nights, that's right.
That's what Van Cliburn played for the Gorbachevs at the White House.
Yeah, it was recorded in Soviet Union by Peter, Paul, and Olga.
Could I explain that for the folks at home? I mean, some of you folks at home.
Peter, Paul, and Olga, as opposed to.
Oh,
Peter.
but there's a musical group called Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Yes. Yeah, you need background to understand that.
Yeah. So.
On the chart or whatever they call it. You're now an official member of the mighty Carson art players. I
Well,
thank you.
thank you. Thank you.
I think you originally suggested this idea.
Yes.
The sketch for us.
Yes.
You wrote a letter and said, "Hey, I think it'd be funny to do that." Nobody's ever done it. So, then you speak Russian
I do, absolutely.
fluently.
Yeah, well, I was
Did you
born
catch
in-
any? Did you catch any of the stuff at all on the side when they were talking, or the interpreter? Or could you hear any of that when he
Well-
was actually here?
They weren't saying anything that public should know. You know, basically they were pretty good in translating. I was waiting for something.
Yeah.
It gives good material for us. You know?
What did you think about the song generally?
I thought it was very interesting. First of all, Gorbachev did not want to come to America, but Raisa Gorbachev wanted to see top Russian ballet dancers.
Yeah. Baryshnikov, you had all these ballet dancers.
Yeah, they all bounced.
Yeah.
They all
So-
bounced.
Yeah.
There was a movie, White Nights, with Baryshnikov and
And Gregory Hines.
Hines, yeah.
That's an 80s classic. That is an 80s classic.
Yes.
Yes, yes, and she's an interesting lady. She, first of all, she looks better than anything we had before.
Was she more attractive than, say, Mrs. Khrushchev? Was not a beauty.
Oh, well, when Chernenko's wife at the funeral threw herself in a casket, everyone shivered because women like that can wake up the dead like that. The whole country went, whoa. Stop. But, you know, I don't like to make fun about Russian women because there might be a couple of them watching and they'll hurt me. And,
That's for the folks at home. Can you stop it for a moment?
Yeah.
For the folks at home in the 80s, Russian women were not beautiful models.
Yeah.
Okay, like they're portrayed now. They were
Giant
like,
horsewomen.
yeah, these like, you know, it's almost like the East, you know, they picture them like the East German,
Like Broomhild, the Broomhildas, yeah.
Brumhilde, Kunigunda, you know, like whatever you would picture, like some
And-
you know, hefty,
Yeah.
you know, Germanic woman. That's what they would.
And then they got, every once in a while, they got like a hot Danish chick, like, what's her name? Bridget Nielsen to play Drago's wife.
Yeah,
And
they,
even then she was like, if he dies. Well, he said if he dies, but yeah.
yeah, about Apollo Creed. If you
Yeah,
die.
she was very heartless. But apart from that, you know, it's just Broomhildas.
She didn't say that. He said that.
He said it, yeah, but I'm saying like she was also like very kind of cold.
Yeah.
So,
Remember Eddie Murphy? He said she also played in Beverly Hills Cop 2.
yeah.
And he's like, that's a big bitch. Right? He's like,
Yeah, something like that.
right? So yeah, so basically when they think of, you know, Russian women back then, they would think of something like Brigitte Nielsen, but,
Yeah.
but not as pretty.
Yeah.
All right, continue.
Really, in a pejorative sense. And I heard from somebody from the Russian mission or something, you know, and they're very sensitive.
oh, yeah.
What would happen to you if you did those kind of jokes from the Soviet Union?
In the Soviet Union,
Yeah.
I could do it once. We had an
Hey,
expression.
hey, stop it. I'm sorry, dude. That's exactly you sent me a clip. You played a clip of Tropics of what's his name, Robert Downey Jr. on Joe Rogan, and
Yeah.
he was asking, could you make Tropic Thunder
Yeah.
today? He goes, you could do it. You know,
Yeah, it's the same thing.
same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was it. In Russia, women are like buses, and that was it.
He made a big impression over here, didn't he? He seems to be charming.
People like him. He is more popular than most of the candidates running today. If he decides to run for the president, we're in trouble.
Hey, stop it again. For the folks at home, if anybody remembers the opening scene in The Naked Gun,
Okay.
do you remember that, Greg?
I mean,
Basically, it's set in Tehran, right? And you have a table set, you know, and you have all the
oh yeah, all the bad guys.
the
Supposedly.
bad guys, the evil dictators from all the bad countries around the world.
Yeah.
You got the Ayatollah, you got Idi Amin, you got Yasser Arafat there, all these creeps. And Gorbachev is there too. And
Yeah.
I think this movie came out in 88, 89.
Something like that. Yeah.
Right? So Gorbachev, so they were planning the destruction of America. The Ayatollah, he's like, America is a paper tiger, or something like that. and then Gorbachev, or the guy playing Gorbachev, said, "Yes, yeah, the latest polls show that I am more popular than the president."
Yeah.
That was a big thing at that time. Yeah.
Yeah. This is '88. That's when the Naked Gun came out. That's funny. Yeah, whatever. All right.
7% was great or something. Yeah. Now about the book. American on 6 rubles a day.
Yeah, the subtitle is How to Become Capitalistic Pig. It explains a lot of things. I just had a lot of experiences that I wanted to share with people.
Right.
You know, like for example, when a foreigner comes to America, you don't know like where to buy a car or something. You know, now I feel like I'm an expert. They made me a spokesman for Plymouth. I was just today. I was in Grand Canyon. They were shooting the commercial for me standing on a cliff, and I guess only a Russian would stand on a cliff, like dropping like 1,800 feet down. And when my real estate person or my insurance agent will look at that commercial, the Allstate hands will probably go, "Well, we don't have enough hands," you know. So, but that's interesting because when I would first of all, went to buy a car, and I asked a friend of mine, "What should I buy?" He said, "Well, I don't know. I bought a lemon." So I went to a dealer and I said, "I'd like a lemon." And he shows me Pinto.
For the folks at home, a Pinto, a Ford came out with a car called Pinto, and that car would explode if you hit it if you rear end it.
Yeah. There's a couple
Go
of
on
them.
fire. Literally, it went on fire. They had to recall it. They had to get rid of it.
"No, I want a lemon." He said, "Trust me."
Trust me.
And what's interesting for the book, you know, I was collecting those expressions that basically mess me up the most. Like, for example, when you hear from somebody and they tell you it's raining cats and dogs. First thought from my mind was umbrellas wouldn't help. Windshield wipers probably go, "Oh no, not the Doberman."
Yeah.
You know? One guy said to me, "I got it from the horse's mouth." Now, there's a source of information. And then he said, "It might be kind of hard for you to swallow." I said, "It's from the horse's mouth." I don't even want to touch it.
So now you're an American citizen.
Yes.
Has that changed any of your perceptions?
Well, first of all, I became a citizen on the 4th of July last year at the Statue of Liberty, which was a great experience. And being at the Statue of Liberty was such an emotional ceremony. And when that was sworn in, first thought from my mind as a new American, I hate those foreigners. Well, yeah, they come here and take our job. But I figured, you know, now I can talk more about what's going on in America and from my perspective, unusual perspective also. Like, for example, Iran-Contra, I still can't understand. Reagan says he doesn't know anything about Iran-Contra, and doctors keep cutting off pieces of his nose.
We can stop it there.
Yeah.
We got a lot to talk about, but there you go.
Yeah.
Even Yakov Smirnoff, the last guy on earth you think would be like that. You know, he's grateful for coming to America for a better life, and yet he sided with them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You could always say like maybe a person like that always, you know, this whole thing of cliche of like a person like that always fights, you know, always will call out lying politicians no matter where it is, if it's America or Soviet Union or whatever, you know, like you could say that. But I don't know. I mean, listen, when you examine the whole Iran-Contra thing, and you're talking about in the context of fighting global communism, you realize what that was, right? It was basically running weapons into
Fight anti-commies
in Central America, in Nicaragua, I believe.
Was it the Sandinistas or something like that, or the?
Yeah.
I was in. Was that in Mexico? What the hell am I talking about?
No, yeah, Sandinistas in Nicaragua. So people from the Soviet Union would say, a lot of people, if you talk to them, at least my parents will say, good, good that they did that,
Yeah.
like whatever it takes. Like my mother today says, like, listen, and my sister gets all aghast. My mother says, you gotta,
Listen,
you gotta
the Fast and the Furious thing with Obama, right?
Yeah.
It makes Iran Contra look like.
It makes Iran Contra look like a gun show in somewhere in Arizona.
And that's to harm our country. That's specifically
Correct.
to get people come here, anyway, unbelievable.
Yeah.
What was that jerk off's name? The one who was his attorney general?
Who? Oh,
the guy who was basically
Obama's attorney general?
Eric
Holder. Yeah, he's another.
Eric Holder. Yeah, that's dumb.
He's still yakking his crap.
Yeah.
He's still yakking about Trump and this. These people are just they and I have like friends. What do you guys care? What do you care about it? The guy's not president anymore. These guys are not in power anymore. Yeah, they're not in power anymore, so they shut the hell up.
Well, they are in power.
Well, I'm saying
they're very much in power.
That's the point. Yeah. So like George W. Bush is not in power, so he shut the hell up. He went into his little painting studio.
That's arguable.
That's arguable. Let's just say like
we discovered later that the Bushes, the Clintons, and the Obamas the same entity basically.
Yeah. Yeah, what you saw on the 20th anniversary of 9/11 when they didn't invite Giuliani, it's like not inviting, I don't know, who's the general in World War II, Patton, to like the parade or something.
Yeah. No, because listen, it's for the folks at home. Giuliani, some of you might remember, he's an incredible mayor, and he did great work during 9/11 to help.
You sound muffled a little bit.
How about now?
Still a little bit muffled.
Even now?
A little bit, yeah.
The hell? I'm standing. I'm lit. It's lit. My nose is
better now.
Microphone.
No, it's better. Yeah.
Okay. So so Giuliani, he did an incredible job as mayor during 9/11. He was very, very supportive. He, got all the services out as quickly as possible, tried to help us. Whatever. He was on the ground there.
Yeah.
Himself.
Yeah.
He's a real leader, and he's the actual hero of 9/11.
Yeah.
There are many heroes, but he was he did a great job. Is the point, and the fact that he wasn't invited to that just tells you everything you need to know about these scumbags.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, man. But we got to get back to the main point, which I'm struggling to remember.
Well, you want to talk about LaRouche, or you want to talk something else?
Oh no, not
about the weird stuff that's happening, and then.
Oh no, that was actually. I just wanted to preface our conversation here with that. But
by the way, we have a viewer who asked a question, kind of a very interesting question. His name is John Riggs. That's funny. Does the divine energy for the Sitra Achor not go through Klipot Noga unless a Jew sins, in which case the Tetragrammaton is damaged and divine energy comes directly to the Sitra Achra? Shalom from North Carolina, USA. This energy to the Sitra Achra, parentheses Chasatan, is undiminished and gives evil the peak power that is evident now.
I'll explain to you. I think the best way to describe it is the way I heard Rabbi Kessin explain it. Essentially, when Adam and Eve did the thing with the tree, it's easier just to say the thing with the tree.
The thing is, it's like the Friends, the show Friends. They had every episode was called the thing about the this with the this.
Right. The thing is, yeah. Or Norm Macdonald will say, he'll go, well, here's the thing. Yeah, he says it. So before that incident with Adam and Eve in the garden and the serpent, every creature had their own, you could say, lifeline to metaphorically speaking, to God. Imagine a tube like like when a baby, it's an umbilical cord. Every living creature had an umbilical cord connected to God, to use a metaphor, okay? Mm-hmm. After that, what what God did apparently is that he took the serpent's umbilical cord and severed it, and he connected it to Adam's umbilical cord. Okay, so the umbilical cord sends nourishment and blessing and life force and energy to every creature, and same for Adam. But the situation that God arranged after the incident was that the life force and the blessing that would go to Adam, if Adam were to sin, it would be diverted to the serpents. Okay, so the serpent's cord, umbilical cord, was spliced into, connected with Adam's. Okay, and the only way that blessing diverts from Adam to the serpent is if the serpent gets Adam to transgress God's will. Okay, so, and what you're saying about the tetragrammaton is essentially, if the tetragrammaton is functioning, then the world is okay. So the tetragrammaton is the 4-letter name of God. Some of you may have seen it. It's a Hebrew word. It's called, the primary name of God. But as we know, God doesn't really have any names. It's more of a formula. If you were to understand the meaning behind each letter, then it would be a formula for how God brings the world into existence and sustains it. And the final letter of the 4-letter name of God is a Hey. And the Hey is in the world that we live in. It's thought of as it's broken off from the rest of the letters. There's something is off. It needs to be returned. It needs to be joined. The last letter of God's name needs to be joined with the other 3 letters that came before it. So essentially, it's a similar idea that when a person from Israel, from the nation of Israel, transgresses God's will, it severs the connection between the 3rd letter and the 4th letter of the tetragrammaton. And it's funny, we have a word in the Torah language, which is teshuvah. So unfortunately, that's usually translated as repentance. But actually, what it really means is like it's easier to picture like a vase getting smashed. And then picking up all the pieces and gluing it together so that it returns to its original form and function. Okay. But what's interesting is that this word teshuva, aside from its meaning, it's a combination of the word teshuv, which means return, and hey, the letter hey, the last letter of the word teshuva is hey. So it's actually a phrase which means return the hey. Return the hey to the other 3 letters of the tetragrammaton. That's the primary. So did I touch upon all the points he asked? I don't know.
Yes, you did. I think you did. Yeah. No, you did. I think you did. Any other questions you guys can write in the comment section.
By the way, I wanted to read Alexander's, I don't want to say his last name, but one of our viewers, listeners, and so this is what he wrote about the Weird Science episode. He said 37 years ago this movie hit theaters, and 37 years later you gentlemen extract shards of the light of Torah.
That's the term. From shards.
From the aforementioned film. Thank you. Okay. So that's what we're doing, and just to get back to something even more original, what we're talking about is that we're the only ones doing this. Like the way that we're doing it. Okay? I think I know why we can do this. Because
you mean can do this? You mean why we have the ability to do it?
Why? Let's just say why we're doing it.
Okay.
Because why we're doing it the way we're doing it is because we're kind of. I mean, I know that Can you hear my baby?
Not at all.
Okay, right. He's crying so loud. It's just that it's amazing that you can't hear it. Okay. I'm just gonna let him cry. Okay. I'm just kidding. My wife is tending to the baby. Hang on a second.
Baran.
Baran. Rotzakroy Baran. Okay. No, he is the most. Everybody loves their baby. I love my baby. He's beautiful. So basically, we are not technically part of the Frum Welt,
Yeah.
and we kind of aren't really trying to be, and we don't feel that we can be.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm speaking for myself, but I get the feeling.
Yeah. I tried and I failed.
And yet we both know, and I'm speaking for myself, and I'm also speaking for you, based on the conversations that we've had. We both know that the Torah is real, that God is real, and so we understand the reality of it, and we understand the importance of staying connected to it for various reasons. So because we're not bound by the social restrictions of the Frum Welt, right? Because people in the Frum world, meaning people in the Orthodox Jewish world, they're not famous for speaking their minds, unfiltered.
Unfiltered and on issues that like are obviously in front of everybody's face, but nobody wants to.
I'll give you a good example. There's a lady who contacted me today. She would normally call my brother for advice. So she said that her daughter wants to get engaged, or is getting engaged to a very nice young man, a learned Torah scholar, young guy learning in Kollel, and it's a very good shidduch, which means like a match.
Good match, yeah.
But he is he's schmaxinated, and she wanted to know if there's anybody to speak to, right, that can give her advice about what to do or how to handle the situation. And so I replied to her, I'm not aware of such a person. I'm not aware of an expert who can advise in this regard. But the problem, not the problem, but in a situation like this, you don't need an expert.
Yeah.
Because the lady I'm speaking to knows there's a problem with the schmaxine. She's aware of the issues, and yet she wants to speak to an expert to tell her what to do. Okay, and so she's not going to say what she wants to say, and she's not going to say what she knows she has to say. She wants to put that responsibility on someone else.
Yeah,
she knows that the answer is that the daughter probably can't marry the guy.
Yeah.
The issues, it's not clear what his health is going to be like. It's not clear how that's going to affect the child. Okay.
Yeah. It's almost like Tay-Sachs. It's like that whole Tay-Sachs issue with Ashkenazi Jews,
I mean,
it's turning into that,
but it's not getting the same respect.
Yeah, of course not
at all.
I'm saying it's the same. It should be the same seriously. Yeah, same issue.
There are things in common, right, with that issue. Okay, so that's the kind of mentality that you see in the Orthodox Jewish community. They want to, when it comes down to keeping it real, they don't want to do it. They want to.
They don't want to tell people about somebody's psychiatric condition.
They want to get talked down from what they know they got to do.
Yeah.
They want to find somebody that's going to tell them, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's going to be okay," and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the mentality.
It's like you said. They don't want to hear what's his name, Randy Quaid's voice in the left field. You'll just blow it again. Oh, wild thing. You make everything embarrassing.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Right. So right. And, but she contacted me with this issue, which means her intuition
Yeah.
what she's ignoring, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
telling her what the situation. Okay, it's telling her what needs to be done. It's telling her anyway. That's the kind of mentality. So, and the reason why people are like this is because they're taught, and I think this is something that might be unique just to our generation, to be honest.
Of course. Yeah.
Because from the people that I met from the older generation, they were much more real.
They're much more real.
I
Yeah,
don't want to say they're much more. They were real. Period.
they were real, and they realized that it's funny. It's ironic because they also lived in a gullus, like physical gullus of Europe, and
Much worse than us.
but it's almost as if the newer generations, the more recent generations, actually internalized the galutification. How? By becoming the Puritans and these what I call sweepers of under the rug, that like the people that that their grandparents grew up around
And hated.
Like it's become Catholicized. So the Catholicization of Judaism, part of it is just sweeping everything under the rug.
Yeah,
Sweeping,
I think like if you bring back like Hasidic dudes or just Orthodox dudes from anywhere in the world, Poland, Morocco, whatever, right? From the previous generations, you bring them to our generations, they would be like, you guys don't, where are your feelings?
Yeah.
Don't you know your own feelings? Why are you guys don't allow yourself to feel anything?
Do you notice
you
what
have to go ask your rabbi before it's allowed to feel something? Where's it allowed to do?
Do you know what I noticed as part of that whole thing, that what we're mentioning now is, and I've seen it a lot with particularly Bali Tshuva from America, depending on where they are from in America. It tends to be more from people from the West Coast and let's say out of town areas. People call it toxic positivity. They always have like this kind of smile on their face. You can't talk to them about anything that's like, troublesome or
part of the human experience.
Yeah, part of human experience, like or they call what they call negative. Why being negative? Like you can't mention anything, and if you do, they just kind of run away from you, or they change the subject, or I don't know. It's just very. I don't know if it's part of like the fake it till you make it mentality. It's interesting because what I notice is the fake it till you make it thing is more of like a, Litvak/Misnagid philosophy. It's not so much a Hasidic thing, but I notice it more also in like the people. You go to like Nachlot, you see these like kind of hippie Baal Tshuva people, and they're also doing this fake it till you make it stuff. They're also walking around with this fake smile on their face. I don't know if it's fake, but you know what I mean? Like they're also walking around like they just smoked I don't know, the entire inventory of Mexico. You know what I'm saying? So it's strange. Where does this come from? Is it imbued in yeshivas? Like who's doing this to these people?
Yeah. I mean, it is. I even back in years ago when I was in yeshiva, I remember fake it till you make it. That was something that was told to people to do.
Yeah.
It didn't feel right. It didn't feel like wearing a black hat.
Yeah.
Growing a beard. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel good. It felt weird.
Dude, Or Sameach. I have a friend who went to Or Sameach, and he actually would like had to leave after a year. Why? Because he really enjoyed the first year he was there. He really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then after the first year, there was one of the Rebbes sat him down and said, "So, Nu, when are you putting on a black hat?"
Exactly.
And the uniform. It literally was like a freaking prerequisite. And my friend just went to Chappelle's because Chappelle's doesn't force you to do that. It's the same learning, actually, maybe even better.
It's exactly what happened.
Transfer that over some man. He went to Chappelle's because it's like, dude, what? Who cares? What are we doing here?
They're trying to produce a certain product. That's what they think they're doing. They think that
my friend calls it productive member of Hutzlaritz. I mean, I have a friend who's like more,
I heard one of the guys say that when I was in yeshiva in Israel, that one of the rabbis said it's called the Hasidic meat grinder.
Yeah.
You put in You put in a Jewish kid and you grind them, out comes a chassid.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a ridiculous statement, and it has nothing. I'm not sure it has anything to do with chassidut.
More of a conveyor belt.
In actuality, it's a convey. They want to produce a certain type of person. Now, this idea, right? Just in a different context. Fake it till you make it. In a different context.
Yeah.
There is something to it.
Yeah.
It does have power. It is effective. Yeah. Okay. I just think it has to be applied more carefully.
Of course.
Like that clip that you played about Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? That guy, that journalist.
But visualizing. Yeah.
Right. So basically, he said that I'm going to pretend like I've already done it and I'm already a big action movie star.
But that's something else.
No, but that's what they're saying this is. You understand? They're using that idea and applying it to be, to living as a religious Jew.
Yeah, but what it does to them, it turns them into cripples, actually, social cripples, and like, again, I interact with these people and I can't. To be honest with you, I don't even know how they interact. I mean, they just interact with each other, I guess. I don't know how they interact with people, like with the normal world.
Yeah.
It's like you told me the other day. It's like, remember you and I were talking about dating, and like, this is off the record, but then you mentioned like, Tzvi, forget about religion. Let's stick to the real world.
Yeah, because religion, this word religion, is not necessarily the same as reality.
Yeah.
Torah is reality.
Yeah.
Religion is people's input into reality.
Or as Yom Tov Glazer, Rabbi Yom Tov Glazer Reish calls it, he's talking to guys in a seminar, and he's going, some of you guys here are visiting from America. You've been in this spiritual amusement park for about a year. You're going through the spiritual amusement park. You're riding the rides. And then it's back to reality. Anyway, that's my best impression of Yom Tov Glazer.
Another problem, yes, that was,
I
don't know him that well enough, but he sounds like he's super Californian, man. He's
very super guy. He's an awesome guy, though. He actually, believe it or not, he understands reality. Actually, he's probably one of the more tapped into reality people you'd meet.
I'm not talking about him as a dude. I'm just talking about the way he sounds.
Yeah, no,
it's annoying how Californian.
Yeah, well, I had a debate with a friend of mine about, like, girls from California, and he loves that Valley girl accent, and I can't stand it because I think
just for the fun. You've never heard a more California guy than Yom Tov Glazer, and just for the fun of him, he's not an older guy. I think.
He's in his 50s. He's in late 50s.
I mean, he might be in his 50s. I just remember him when I saw him. When I was in Israel 20 years ago, I guess, in some of the videos. Full head of black hair, young dude, go surfing, that kind of guy. That's who he is.
Go surfing,
yeah.
I think more the girls sound like, guys are not so bad, but the girls just sound like, I don't know.
No, the guys are really bad too. Yeah. They did this awesome, one of the few things, like Saturday Night Live, every now and then they get something, and they have this skit called the Californians or the Californians.
Yeah. Whoa, yeah.
Hey,
what are you doing here?
238 to Route 4. Right. That's what it sounds like, basically.
Yeah. Take the
right. I don't know. I don't actually know any of the road.
I don't know the road. Yeah, let me play one of these here.
Yeah.
I'll play like the most
he's a good guy, just has an accent from where he's from, that's all.
Yeah. Here. I'll play the one that's like the most
Can you play the one with the black kid? They gave him a blonde wig and he's also like a Californian.
Yeah. With
I got the name of the kid who I guess he's not a kid anymore.
He's not a kid, he just looks like a kid. He doesn't age.
Still looks like a kid, right?
Yeah, black guy here. His name is Keenan Thompson.
Good Burger.
Keenan.
Yeah, that's right. Remember Good Burger? God.
Yeah, welcome to Good Burger. Yeah. Here, replacing Rosa. This is the one. Oh God, now it's gonna be 12 billion minutes of ads.
All right,
Lord help us now.
I don't want to give YouTube any money. I don't care how long we have to wait.
But this ad has to play anyway. They're gonna get their money either way. It's a stupid State Farm. Okay.
No, I'm off the property. I recognized it right away from the bougainvillea cascading over the security gate, but no one's here.
I am. Sorry to startle you.
Bill Hader.
I love these beautiful beechwood floors.
Rosa cleaned them with California Meyer lemons. I miss Rosa. Look how smart she was.
So what happened to Rosa anyway? Why would she give up this prima makeup?
Well, if you want to know the truth.
Oh, hold on a second, man. Hold on a second. You there?
Yeah.
Hello, you there?
Yeah, man.
Hello? Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem.
Tell me.
Devin, what are you doing here? What are you about to say?
You weren't here, Stuart, so how to show your new maid around?
I'm not a maid. I'm an estate manager for Marina Del Rey.
Sorry I'm late. Traffic around LAX was insane because Trump is in town. I drove my convertible Corvair up Sepulveda, took it to Centinela, turned out on La Brea, took it all the way straight.
Well, you would have been on time if you just took Culver to the one, then turned right on Sunset. That's what it says to do on Google Maps.
Yeah, good man.
Devin, I use Waze.
That's why you ended up in Inglewood, bro. Waze isn't always right, Stuart.
Yes, it is, Devin. I love Waze.
Google Maps gives you traffic updates, Stuart.
Wait, I'm sorry. So why did Rosa
You're coming.
decide to leave?
I can't think about that right now. I had my athleisure wear launch.
Rose was deported, Marie.
Yeah, the faces.
Yeah, yeah.
Now they're looking in the mirror. That's when they look in the mirror.
Yeah, they're all looking in the mirror. Everybody's wearing a blonde wig.
Oh, here comes the black guy. Here.
Thank you all for coming to my launch party.
To Stuart's new athleisure wear. Cheers to West Coast Fit. I'm ready to invest.
And Stuart, I'm so excited to be your company model.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Oh.
My sunrise runs longer on no bench.
Summer, you've got the perfect look for that West Coast fit.
Stuart, this party is a hit. Nothing can ruin it, man.
What if I told everybody your wife left you for a marine biologist in Fresno?
My business partner's from Fresno, by the way. Marine biologist in Fresno. It doesn't make sense. It's in inland California.
Yeah.
Smack in the middle of California.
You don't know what you're talking about, Devin. You're drunk on that Sonoma Ridge, California sparkling rosé.
I'm sure not drunk to know that she got in her Prius hybrid and drove straight up the 5 towards 99 North, then took exit 131.
What the hell? That's the aquarium in Fresno.
She did to get away from you, sir.
Oh, that's an aquarium.
All right. They get the point. We get the.
We don't want to get banned here or copyrighted.
Yeah. Stay.
Is that? It's like they're cheating on each other.
Yeah. Really funny. California people hilarious. They think it sounds normal.
Denise says, "You guys are talking about California girls. I was raised there. You guys got an accent too." Yeah, but our accent doesn't lend itself to.
Yeah, try making fun of our accent. You're gonna get a baseball bat across the head.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's do the SNL Pesci.
No, hold on. No, come on. We can't. We gotta move on.
Can I just play it with
No, but before you play that,
Brewer?
there's another type of California. There's actually a couple types of California accent. You got the black, like Compton, like Marquez Buster, Brooks. Everybody, by the way, one thing they all share in common, everybody sounds like they're trying to swallow their own words.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to swallow their own teeth.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like Marquez Buster, like. And then you got the essays. They also have some.
Vato.
Latino.
¿Qué pasó?
It's exactly. It's the Spanish version of the. People don't understand that. It's the Spanish version of swallowing your own face, just like everybody else.
You ever see a man eat his own head? No, and neither have we. Then you haven't seen everything.
I tell you, yeah. Go to California. All right.
Here, I'm gonna play the Pesci thing. This is him and when they have this freaking pedophile. What's his name? Kevin Spacey playing Pacino.
Welcome to the Joe Pesci Show. Here he is now, my brother, Joe Pesci.
I just want to play the part where he beats somebody up with a baseball bat. Here. What's his name comes in? He playing Dennis Rodman, one of the regular characters, the regular guy. Here.
There's actually one with Giuliani, where Giuliani.
Here. Let's play the. Speaking of Giuliani, we were talking about Giuliani, so let's do. Oh yeah, where he like beats him up. Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the organized crime.
Giuliani said he fought organized crime.
You get into organized crime. Oh, that's great. You must be awfully proud.
Jim Brewer is brilliant.
All right, yeah. What I'm going to bring out who also happens to be a mayor from Washington, D.C., Marion Barry is here.
Marion Barry. Oh, it's
Hey, how are you, Marion?
Is that?
How are you?
Is that Tracy Morgan?
Glad to be here representing this great
Yeah.
Tracy Morgan.
Atlanta.
Hey, quick note. This is a mayor. This is a mayor on drugs.
Oh my God.
Any questions?
They caught him on tape with cocaine.
My man Rudy, so you said you want to clean up the city, right? Of course. Check it. I'll sell you 12 reconditioned garbage trucks for $50,000 a piece.
Thanks. Our sanitation department has quite enough trucks.
Well, then let me make it good for you. Give me $35 a truck and I'll throw in a bag of salt for the snow.
Hey, oh, hey, come on. You don't need no trucks.
You dig it. Let me owe $5. I just gotta pay. Let me go find a page for it.
By the way, this is like 1997. This was filmed.
Yeah.
It's like the heyday of Giuliani's thing.
Yeah.
Who's that? You believe that guy? This comes on my show and disrespects me? I can't even believe that guy. Really?
Hey, Joey, come on.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you getting excited about? Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about
He's trying to sell him a bicycle.
For $2.
Hey, whoa, over here. I'll give you $5 for it, you poor bastard.
Oh, man. Shorty Loans, I couldn't sell you this bike. Your feet wouldn't even reach the pedals.
Oh boy.
Oh, you think I'm some minuscule manicotti midget? Huh?
Manicotti.
Is that what I am? Hey, you know what? I'll give you $10 for the bike. I'll even throw in 20, and I'll throw in this back.
Of course, they have him beating up a black guy with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
There you go. Just hit him with a bat once and he fell.
Crime rate just went down.
Oh, that was messed up. Did you hear that? The crime rate just went down.
Now, speaking of reducing crime, back to what we were saying. Now, I read in the paper that crime has gone down 44%. Now, oof, how did you do that?
No, it's very simple. The first thing I did was break the mob stranglehold on the fish market, which has made eating in New York restaurants much more affordable.
Yeah, but have you tried the calamari? It stinks.
Joe, I'm a big fan of yours, and that's why it concerns me when I see you, a fellow paisan, involved in ways in which you portray Italians negatively.
Please give him that look.
What do you mean, Nick? Oof. Where do you get your couillons big enough?
Couillons.
You call me Nick? Huh?
Joe, I didn't say you were negative. I'm saying that you're such a talented actor. I'd love to see you play a heroic Italian-American, like Joe DiMaggio.
Like Joe DiMaggio. Oh, so is that what I am? I'm some sort of Fellini fettuccine poster boy.
Fellini.
Huh? Rudy, you want a jolt? Hey, I'll give you a jolt. How about Jolt and Joe? Let's see if Joe DiMaggio, Rudy, can extend his hitting streak, huh? Come here,
Security.
Oh, you gotta call your boys. Get away from me. Get away from me.
Hold it. I think people forgot that I come from Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah?
Baseball bats are for kids from Jersey.
Oh,
Where I come from,
stickball.
we play stickball.
Oh, here you go.
That's for Goodfellas. This is for Casino. And this is for the $8.50 I had to spend on going fishing. Turn off that camera. I said turn it off. This is my city. When I say off, let me off.
There you go. This is how they depict him now in real life.
I know that scene so well that, listen, while you were playing that, I just got curious. I was like, where did Joe Pesci grew up? He grew up in Jersey in a town called Belleville. And then I was like, where did De Niro? He grew up in Manhattan. And where did Al Pacino? He also grew up in Manhattan. Then I looked up Harvey Keitel.
Yeah.
You know where Harvey Keitel's from? Don't look it up. Do you have any idea?
Keitel, I think, is from the city or the Bronx.
He's from Brighton Beach.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. I can't believe it.
Oh my God.
He literally grew up in Brighton Beach. Like that's shocking to me.
Yeah. Yeah, youngest child of Jewish immigrants, Miriam Klein from Romania and Harry Keitel from Poland. His parents owned a ran and luncheonette, while his father worked as a hat maker. He grew up in Brighton Beach neighborhood in Brooklyn. Elder sister Renee and older brother Jerry. He attended Lincoln. What?
Well, yeah, he grew up in Brighton Beach. That's the high school.
I lived next to Lincoln until 1992. He enlisted in the Marines at age 17. And after his discharge, he was a court stenographer for 10 to 12 years and began his acting career. You know what's funny? My mom, every time I talk to my mom about, she's always pushing me into like acting and comedy and all that stuff. I said, it's all leftist now. She's like, she always goes, oh, what about Harvey Keitel? You can be like Harvey Keitel. I'm like, do you know when Harvey Keitel started? In the Paleozoic era.
It's funny.
Harvey Keitel. Just don't,
It's funny when we were younger. We would say, yeah, look at all these awesome actors. These cool, edgy actors from from our neck of the woods.
They're all commies.
In Brooklyn. Now they're all altar cockers, and we don't care about them, and they're idiots.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. Except for James Woods. He's cool.
Where's James Woods from? I actually am curious about that.
Where's he from? I'll tell you where he's from. Okay?
I'll tell you this.
He's from Vernell, Utah. He had a brother 10 years younger. His father, Gail Peyton Woods, was an Army intelligence officer who died in 1960 after routine surgery. His mother, Martha, ran a preschool after her husband's death and later married Thomas E. Dixon. Woods grew up in Warwick, Rhode Island, where he attended Pilgrim High School, from which he graduated in 1965. Oh, wow.
That makes more sense because there's a Northeastern thing about him, like I'm not getting Utah from James Woods.
By the way,
I didn't get Utah from Roseanne, which is surprising.
And she's Jewish. But listen to this. Woods was an undergraduate at MIT. He stated on Inside the Actor Studio that he originally intended to become an eye surgeon. He pledged the Theta Delta Chi fraternity and was a member of the student theater group Drama Shop, acting in a number of plays. He dropped out of MIT in 1969, one semester short of graduating. Wow. To pursue a career in acting. Woods has said that he owes his acting career to Tim Affleck, father of actors Ben and Casey Affleck, who was a stage manager at the theater company of Boston, which Woods attended as well. So why did Woods come out the way he did? Why is
James Woods apparently has an IQ of 180.
180, and he's like a super conservative. Like he just tweets like crazy.
There you go.
Yeah, 184. That's his IQ.
Oh.
180, 184. So how did he come out like this?
I don't know. Take a look. I don't know.
Dude, I can't hear you so well. You're like far away.
I said, I don't know. Take a look. I don't know.
Take a look. I don't know. Here's James Woods. I want to read you the last few tweets. This is really him tweeting. It's crazy. Here. So he was responding to some guy, Max Boot. The founders never envisioned such an imbalance between power and population and undermines any pretense that we are still a democracy. We should abolish the electoral college and make the election of senators proportional to population. This is some schmuck, lefty schmuck, with a Ukrainian flag on his Twitter, of course. Response: it is exactly because of people like this little mutt that the electoral college was created and the United States was structured as a republic and not a mob scene. Next. Next, he posts a picture of the Declaration of Independence, and then he posts a video of Clarence Thomas defending himself. Then he posted, let's see, what else? What else? Something about puppies. So he says, one person can't possibly answer all the questions Mr. Woods has asked. He'd be sitting all day and all night answering back. He gets thousands a day. Proud to have him, his wit and wisdom back on here. Woods responded, thanks, but I do try to interact as often as I can. My fans and friends on Twitter mean the world to me. I'm your humble servant. Interesting. What else did he write? I want to see like an original, not a response to anything. Here. This is about the AR-15. Oh, Gavin Newsom, this putz. AR-15, a weapon of war. The gun industry is openly marketing these to kids with cartoons and mini JR-15s. These don't belong in the hands of our kids or on our streets. I just signed 2 bills to ban ghost guns and these sick marketing ploys. Response from James Woods. And while you're at it, please take a basic firearm safety course. The NRA offers them for free. We just pointed a rifle at several crew members in violation of the first rule of gun safety. Schmuck.
I was just looking up, celebrities with high IQs, right? So, the list is interesting. You have Dolph Lundgren. Well, we knew that. We know he's. I think he has like a PhD in chemical engineering or something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't know about Quentin Tarantino. I'm surprised about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Lisa Kudrow. I think I actually knew that. She's very intelligent. Conan O'Brien. I guess that makes sense. Steve Martin, kind of. Sharon Stone, shockingly high IQ.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Matt Damon apparently has a 160 IQ, which is.
You mean to say that he doesn't say that?
Right.
Yeah.
But he towers over all of them. James Woods by far. He's like 25 points higher than
that's a Mensa members. It's a 160, I think. Yeah.
Well, I don't think any of them make it besides James Woods, if that's the case.
Make it what?
No, Menza. So basically, apparently, at 184 IQ, he's 20 IQ points higher than Stephen Hawking.
Really? Stephen Hawking is a 160?
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Minimum IQ score to become a Mensa member is 130. I think I took an IQ test. I'm like 127. A little lower than that.
I think I'm like 90.
No,
I think I'm like 0.95.
You kidding me? What are you talking about?
No, I'm serious. Actually,
dude, the stuff that you come up with that you're able to parse out, I think you're even way higher than me.
Yeah, but I sucked in school. I think that makes sense.
It doesn't. A lot of a high IQ. Dude, what's his name? Einstein got D's. So like, what does that have to do with anything? Bullshit. His IQ was 160. No, here. It's about 160. So like, what are we talking about?
The truth is that I didn't actually get like a professional person to give me an IQ test. It was a friend of the family. This girl, she was getting her degree in psychology, and she had somebody an IQ test. So I guess she practiced on me, and I don't remember what it came up with. It wasn't terribly high. I think it was like 112 or something like that. But,
really? I think it's not.
I mean, she made it. I'm not. She could have screwed up. I didn't care that much about it. I'm like,
no, I know. I'm just saying. I'm talking to you. I don't think it's true.
I heard somewhere. I don't know if this has any merit to it whatsoever. It could just be like, like a lefty excuse. It probably is, come to think of it. I heard somebody say that the IQ test is it discriminates because a lot of it is cultural.
Could be, but that people say that about the SATs.
I heard that about the IQ test.
Really?
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. When I've seen the IQ test, it's more like if there's like puzzles and all this kind of stuff. It's not really. I don't know. I didn't notice that it was so terribly cultural. I don't know. Not sure, but the highest one IQ ever, I think. Marilyn Vos Savant. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't her. It was this guy, Inan Celeste Cawley, 263. My goodness, what do you even do with that?
There's a movie with Albert Brooks where he goes to heaven, and basically it's like, it's just like Earth, but kind of like being at a in Club Med or something like that. Yeah. And then everybody who, like all the staff there, I guess you can call them the angels. They didn't use that word, but they all have like super high IQs. They have like one guy is like it's like a 10,000 IQ is the highest or something like that.
Here, I want to play. I know the movie. It's called Defending Your Life. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's right.
Here, I tried to watch it as like part where he's like on the golf carts. They're like taking him around on golf carts.
It's funny, but it's super whiny.
It is whiny, yeah. Here, well, he's kind of whiny, Albert Brooks. Here, Little Brains. There you go. This is where he's. It's called the Little Brains scene. Here, Misjudgments. Here, this is where I guess he gets up there. This is, Rip Torn, the actor?
Yeah, sure. Of course. I love that guy.
The Rip Torn is like, I guess he's like interviewing him or something. Yeah, meets his lawyer, Bob Diamond. Rip Torn describes the process of judgment.
Before you play, I just want to know, Rip Torn played the most badass dude I ever seen in any movie, but I don't think anybody knows this movie. He played in the early 1900s, like an old guy, a grizzled old dude with a hook who decided to go and make some money in prize fighting, like before gloves and everything, like, when the guys held, in the old, what do they call it? What are they called? Boxing? Pugilists, like those guys. And it's just a badass movie, man. I want to find out that movie. Anyway, continue.
Dude, he passed away in 2019. Wow.
That's I had no idea.
That's
Sit down, my friend.
I can't hear a thing.
No, because he's not talking yet. He's looking at him.
What are you looking at? What's wrong? You look good in that tuba. Some people don't, but you do. It's flattering to you. Thanks. So, is this what you thought it would be? Thought what would be? Where am I? is this heaven? No, it isn't heaven. Is it hell? No, it isn't hell either. Actually, there is no hell. Although I hear Los Angeles is getting pretty close. Well, Daniel, let me tell you this. When you're born into this universe, you're in it for a long, long time. You have many different lifetimes. And after each lifetime, there's an examining period which you're in now. You see, every second of every lifetime is always recorded. And as each one ends, we sort of look at it. Look at a few of the days, examine it. And then if everybody agrees, you move forward. What do you mean move forward? I mean move forward, continue onward. The point of this whole thing is to keep getting smarter, to keep growing.
Interesting.
To use as much of your brain as possible. For example, I use 48% of my brain. You know how much you use?
Oh yeah, right. It was the percentages. It wasn't the IQs. Yeah, right.
3. Sorry? 3. Use 3% of my brain? Yes, don't worry about it. Everybody on Earth uses 3% of their brain. 3 to 5%. That's why they're there. 3%? You mean nobody on Earth uses more than that? When you use more than 5% of your brain, you don't want to be on Earth. Well, not but there are many more exciting destinations for smarter people. Now, being from Earth as you are and using as little of your brain as you do, your life is pretty much.
I have a question.
Dealing with fear. Yes, everybody on Earth deals with fear. That's what little brains do. What are little brains? That's what we call you folks behind your back.
Exactly.
Forgive me.
Looks on his face. So now here's my question, man. I don't think it's about intelligence. I think I think it's really people who are able to tap into more than.
Instead of, if you were to just switch the word brain
With
and tap into consciousness.
Consciousness, yes.
How about this? But actually, the word much better word is mind.
Mind, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Their God mind or their spiritual mind. People
Well, the Torah, our tradition tells us that the soul, the part of the soul that we experience in this world, is just it's a narrow band of the full signal. It's not the full signal. It's just a tiny fraction of our actual consciousness, of our mind. Our brain does not contain our entire mind. It only contains a very small ribbon of it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, like, when you think about, like, you look at the people, like he mentioned, like, if you tap into more, you don't want to be here.
Yeah.
So to speak. It just seems like a lot of the people who are not going along with the plans that we see in front of us have seemingly tapped into more consciousness, and seemingly it's not that we don't want to be here, it's that we don't want to comply with what is here, so to speak.
Well, I can only speak for myself, and I could say that I certainly don't want to be here. But I also realize that I don't really have a say in that.
Yeah.
But if I did, I think I would stay only for the sake of my family, and now mainly my son, of course. Okay, because it's a rough place. It's a shitty reality here, and I'd want to help him make it as nice as possible. The experience. Protect him from whatever I can protect him from. And that's the only reason. But that's not a reason related to the place, right? Like, if I didn't have any of those concerns, I wouldn't want to be here at all. Like, I have no, this place is crazy. I don't feel a sense of connection to it aside from the people that I love.
Well, what I'm thinking about is, like, it almost seems like the people who are crafting all of this crap are tapped into also high consciousness, but from the Sitra, obviously. Like they know, they obviously they see everything, they know everything, they understand everything that makes people tick, not just on a basic clinical level, but also on a deeper spiritual level. They know. And again, it's the young fool thing, you know. They see us, people like you and me and others. We call them out. They laugh at us. They make the others laugh at us. You know, or they create conditions where the others just naturally laugh at us or dismiss us. I don't know, but I'm just wondering, like, how do we figure out how to teach the rest of humanity how to tap into the above 5% consciousness?
Well, we can't do that. I don't know about you. I certainly can't teach humanity that, because I haven't succeeded in doing that myself.
I know Mashiach will for sure do it. I know that.
Yeah. What we can do is we can point to something interesting that perhaps we notice that most people don't.
Yeah.
That's different than, you know, teaching them. You know, it's different than what you said.
Yeah.
We can kind of point to something that, you know, where we could say, look at that. There's something going on over there. There's something worthwhile. We kind of have a sense of where to look to accomplish that. We can't accomplish it for people. We can kind of show them where they can have a chance to go and do that for themselves. Right?
Yeah.
I know we'd also have to go ahead and do that for ourselves, right? Put your money where your mouth is, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We're trying. I think we're trying.
Yeah.
So
we started out talking about the whole thing of what did we start talking about?
well, while you're remembering, there is something I wanted to address. I think it was on Facebook. There's, you know, one of our regular or occasional listeners, Rachel, right? I think.
Yeah. Rabbi Kessel's
Right. So she made a comment on our weird science thing, where she's like, it always amazes me how men assess.
Oh yeah.
Because I assumed she heard us talking about Gary and Wyatt, these two fictional characters, weird science, you know, creating their ideal woman. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the first thing I didn't have time to write this, but I wanted to say.
You also saw us write the term smokestack and smoke show.
Yeah, but those are terms, sticky terms that it's just funny to say them.
Yeah.
That's why we say stuff, because it's silly. It sounds
because
funny.
It's funny. Yeah.
Because it's funnier to say that than not to say it. That's all it is.
Dude, you know the people I hate? The people when you say something like sarcastic or like you think it's funny, and then they get upset and then they like call you out or something. I'm like, and you say like, I was just kidding. And then they're like, well, jokes have to be funny.
It sounds like a lady said that.
I want to punch people like this.
That sounds like something a lady would say.
Yeah. But jokes had to be funny.
But let me rephrase that. I've heard many ladies say exactly that.
I heard men say that. Ugh.
You know what Patrice would say? He goes, "Did that come from a man? That sounds very. That's like a vaginal term." He literally would say that's Patrice's term.
Yeah.
No. You know what he was commenting on when he said that? On the word inappropriate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We spoke about
that. Is inappropriate. He goes, "You hear a man say inappropriate?" He goes, "Did that come from a man?" Right? He's like. Inappropriate.
No, I always ask them to explain to me what do you mean? I don't understand what inappropriate means. And what are that? No, I ask them, what are the ramifications of inappropriateness, offensiveness? Okay, so it's offensive. We say in Russian, dальше что? In Hebrew, azman. And therefore what? People are gonna die, millions of people are gonna die because I offended you, or what?
Yes, it can snowball out of control. You know, one guy says
whole racist movement of racists.
Yeah, right. Dude, it's like 3 steps between saying something inappropriate and women chained to a cotton gin.
Uh-huh.
You know, that's how fast these things work.
Yeah.
voting rights taken away for the fourth time, just like was it Al Sharpton said? Remember?
Where do they get this from? Even it's just
right. But just again for Rachel. So I remember I responded to her. I was like, the only reason that we assess beauty that way is because we were programmed to do so. If we weren't, we wouldn't bother. I found something like that. But what I really wanted to say was, we actually don't assess beauty that way. Okay. It's obviously there's much more to it. But we're describing two 17 or 16-year-old boys from an 80s movie. So just to clarify. Not that I wasn't. That wasn't an apology, and I wasn't worried about her being offended. I just
she doesn't. Like that.
I just wanted more information. Like there is a lot more to assessing beauty. Actually, I don't know if beauty can be assessed really. You can just be experienced.
But you know what annoys me? And I had this conversation on Shabbos, and it's per what you and I were speaking about in my whole dating situation and all this kind of stuff. And I mentioned to people, to my friend, I'm gonna try to be as tactful as possible because I don't want to. Speaking of which, I don't want to offend anybody listening. I asked my friend, I'm like, because my friend's like, oh, you're this, you're that. There's no reason you should be single, blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, so why do I keep getting set up with girls and I use the term, I want to say this, who I'm not attracted to. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to say they're not attracted, who I am not attracted to, right?
Yeah.
And this person responded to me, well, the people setting you up with these girls, how do they know who you're attracted to? Everybody's attracted to different types of people. And I say, yes, but there is such a thing as objective attractiveness of people that we see in media and Hollywood and public, who everybody could agree. I don't know, 95% of people out there could agree that this person is attractive, that this girl is attractive. You have to be Stevie Wonder to think that she's not. Like this kind of stuff exists.
No, but can I make an important distinction? And I'm not trying to be devil's advocate at all. This is just exactly how I feel. This is just the truth of how I actually feel.
Okay.
And if there's any women out there that think that this is sweet or nice, I assure you I'd prefer to insult you rather than make you feel bad. Okay.
It's purely accidental.
This is incidental. Whether or not I'm saying anything that sounds nice to a lady is completely incidental. Okay.
You care. You couldn't care less what they think.
Actually, it seems like I do care. I, in fact, want them to. It's almost like the pendulum swung all the way to the other side, where I used to be concerned. I wouldn't want to offend people, but after all the Karening that's been happening,
Karening and the Me Tooing.
And the Me Tooing and just, all this kind of, liberal crap, right? It's been going on for all these years. It created an impulse to where I have to always push back against that as hard as possible, no matter what.
Yeah. Because,
you guys are destroying the world. You're destroying civilization with your bullshit.
Yeah.
But, so anyway, assessing, and this is more than just a nuance, beauty and even features are not the same thing. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Attractiveness and even features are not the same thing. For example, where have I heard this term even features? This is more of an old school term. I heard this by who was it? Roger Moore, the guy who played. He's my favorite James Bond in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, that's right. Sean Connery is my second favorite James Bond. I hope I'm not. Nobody has a conniption over that. Anyway, so basically, he was describing his career and how he got. So he was aware that he had even features, meaning his face is symmetrical.
Roger Moore.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He was so a symmetrical face has something to it, which is what do they call it? A photogenic, is that right? Photogenic,
yes.
whatever. Okay. there is something that people inherently sense, and by the way, the person speaking you don't see is a non-symmetrical face-looking person. Right? So,
I'm also, by the way,
right. So and as most people are not. Okay, so the people who have the most symmetrical faces, not necessarily the most attractive ones, but the symmetrical faces end up on TV.
Yeah.
Okay. Attraction has way more to do with what comes out of your mouth and your body language than symmetrical features.
That is true. That is true.
I'm just saying this from my personal experience.
No, you're absolutely right. But what I'm talking about is, first of all, with women, it tends to be more apparent than with men. And just because women, first of all, like men don't doll themselves up, or at least most men don't doll themselves up for photos, or let's say shitty photos or anything like that.
I doll myself up all the time.
Women will put their best kind of foot forward in that regard, which is why there's this whole term called catfishing, where you like see the girl's picture, and or I like to call it, she won the misrepresentation pageant.
Yeah.
Where a lot of these girls, I used to meet them on J-Day. You see the picture, and then you talking, it's all great. And
you're talking about those photos they take from weird angles.
Weird angles and like sideways and backwards and upside down from the chandelier. I don't know, just all kinds of
duck face, bumblebee butt.
Duck face, like they got bit by a bee in their mouth or whatever. I don't know. So women are more into that, and so you see that in photos. Let's say the girl's attractive, you could see that, right, before she even opened her mouth. With guys, you don't really, with most guys, you don't really know. With guys, it's more of a thing. With guys, it's more of a thing of attractiveness. How should I put this? The personality of what he says, not just personality, but what he says. If he says, so to speak, the right things, and he has the right, so to speak, confidence, he comes off more attractive. Dude, with girls, like you and I, right? We don't really. Let's say we see a cute girl, right? Does her being more confident or not make us think she's more or less attractive?
I can only speak for myself.
What? Like I don't really. For you, it's like a real thing.
For me, it actually is a real thing. Where, not in this general sense. I'm not trying to say that all I care about is personality.
Yeah.
But I've been attracted to girls.
I'm not talking personality. I'm talking about confidence specifically. Just confidence.
Okay, no, that's part of it. That's part of so
part of it. But I'm saying, like, you keep hearing like girls like a guy. You don't care if he's a douchebag or he treats people like shit. Girls like a guy with confidence.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, and like that confidence, you could be like a guy who's, I don't know, ostensibly whatever, but if you don't have confidence,
confidence is a sign of taking charge.
Correct. So what I'm saying is
women don't want to be in charge. Patrice would say this all the time. Yeah. Women want a guy who is like, that they can look at him and say, yeah, man, that guy is the boss. Like I feel like I got a real winner here. I want this guy to take charge and to run things and to be the leader that I need him to be. And that's why, actually, according to Patrice, Dr. Patrice, that's why a lot of women always challenge their men, trying to make them into wusses, or trying to make them into wusses as a challenge, because they're checking to see if they're still with the winner.
The colloquial term for that is,
I don't want to use it.
Shit test, my friend.
Is that what it is?
Yes. There's literally a name for that. Shit test.
We talked about this with the most militant, like, feminist people, right? Like these women, they from the outward appearance, they're almost like, lumberjack lesbians. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But they end up like, you'll never imagine who they end up with. They end up with like the most like just giant biker dudes that just slap them around, and they love it. Yeah. This is from my personal experience. Okay, this is not something that I saw in a movie. I've seen this over and over again.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I could say. So, if somebody wants to contradict me out there, how are you going to contradict my personal experience? Explain that to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, that's an extreme example of what we're describing here. Okay. That's what confidence is. Okay. And it can be more attractive. Yeah.
Yeah. So with women, it's not a confidence is not a make or break. It's actually, if anything, what's a make or break is if a woman is more on of, for me at least. Like if I see a girl's ostensibly attractive, but she doesn't, how should I put it? Not that she doesn't know it, but she doesn't use it as a weapon, or she doesn't give off the aura. Because a lot of these girls, especially Gen Z, like these girls who are like attractive, they give off the aura like they think that they are the SHIT. And for a lot of guys like that. I personally am not a fan of that.
We got to parse this out.
Okay.
I feel danger.
Danger from what?
I just feel like there's potential for unhappiness if this is not discussed. I wasn't planning on going here, but now I realize.
Well, what I want to tell you is a lot of the girls I meet under 30 in this generation, who I find, let's say, before they open their mouth, attractive. And then again, this is not all of them, obviously. There's no such thing as all. But a lot of them, a good percentage of them are very much into themselves. And it's obviously it's part of the narcissistic social media thing and all this kind of stuff.
Okay, that's already something else. I wanted to focus on this idea of confidence, which to me is synonymous with assertiveness.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And also being what's the word? You're not overly concerned with how people feel about you.
Mm-hmm.
You're familiar, or it's important to do the right thing. You have a sense of right and wrong. You have a conscience. You do things. Those are your motivating things. But whether or not someone looks at you a certain way is not that much of a concern for you. Okay, so to me, these are all kind of like connected or synonymous with confidence. Confidence is also somebody who knows what they want. You understand? Confidence. What is confidence? Confidence is I know what to do, or I know what I want. I have a direction, or I know how to get there. Okay, so I find that extremely attractive on a girl.
I think that's something else. Yeah, that's.
Okay, that means that if a girl is confident and she knows what she wants, that means you're not going to have to suffer through ridiculous games where you have to pull out information from her that she's too bashful.
She's not like too timid.
10 years later, you realize that she hates something that you thought she liked, but she was too much of an enough to say anything about
that's something else. Yeah.
By the way, that we use the word unof for the folks at home. Unof means a person who's humble, a humble person. Okay, so but that's a misnomer.
Yeah, that's true.
The word unof should not be applied to this person. This person is someone, I don't know the proper term. I don't want to be insulting, but it's somebody who's not confident and doesn't communicate well. Somebody who's not able to communicate, whatever the word is in Hebrew for a person who does not communicate effectively. That's what.
Yeah.
That's not humility.
I don't know. That's true. You're right.
Okay.
I have relationship with girls like that, and they end up being like I don't want to use the word snake in the grass, but it's almost like a thing of like I don't know where. They say like quote, it's always the quiet ones.
Yeah. No.
Like that kind of stuff.
You're right. That is a related idea. I've
never gotten screwed over as much as I have been as girls who are like that.
We kind of discussed it a couple of conversations ago about that blonde chick in the movie that I was telling you, the one she was a Lamborghini salesman. Remember I was describing that actress?
Yeah.
Right?
The one who knows she's up to no good or whatever. Yeah.
She knows what she's up to no good. She knows exactly what she's doing, and she's very, very happy about it.
It's called It Takes Two.
That the movie, right? It takes.
Her name is
Kimberly something.
Kimberly Foster.
Right. So I don't know if she's like that as a person, but she definitely she played that on TV.
Yeah.
Okay. So I like that so much.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because you don't have to.
Yeah, there's no secret, so that's fine.
Just go live, just live.
Yeah, that's something else.
The clock's running out. We don't have time to, to have these long ass discussions where I have to pull information out of you. You need an invitation.
No, that's something else. Yeah.
No, but that's what I'm talking about.
But even these kind of girls don't necessarily have the aura. At least the ones from back in the day, that they are like, how dare you talk to me? That kind of thing. Like it's something endemic to Gen Z girls. Like, again, not all, but it's like a how dare you talk to me kind of a thing.
Hang on, I'm lost now. I don't know what you mean.
It's like a certain vibe. Like, they don't. I don't know. Maybe it's just the ones I'm encountering.
Yeah, but apply it to what
a lot of these. Also, what I noticed, like, you want to go back to the frum world. A lot of these girls in the frum world, like, again, like you're talking about, let's say FFB girls who I've encountered, they grow up basically not talking to boys until the first boys they talk to are the guys they meet in shidduchim.
Yes.
So when you run into them in like events or wherever, hardly any of them will talk to you. The only ones who will actually are the ones that are not as good looking as the other ones.
What are you saying?
The only ones who will talk to guys, the only FFB girls who will talk to guys from birth, are the non, so to speak, not as good looking ones.
I don't know.
That's the pattern that I've seen. Again, man, you didn't go through this whole gambit that I'm going through right now.
It's not my experience, but I have spoken to people who I've spoken to plenty of girls. I still do.
Okay.
Not all of them know I'm an old married guy. You know what I mean? Like they just talk
about you're talking about specifically from birth girls?
Yeah, but
where do you have the venue to speak to them?
The venue, like going to shul. You know what I mean? Like I occasionally go to shul.
And you speak to FFB 25-year-old from birth attractive girls.
Oh, see, now we're starting to narrow things down.
That's not narrow. That's what I was referring to.
Yeah,
I'm referring, dude. I was parsing my word. I was filtering my words for. I'm referring to the Hani Hanis. That's what I'm referring to. You talk to Hani Hanis? That's who you talk to?
I feel like you're not asking me. I feel like you're gonna bite my head off if I don't say.
I'm gonna bite my head off. I just find it hard to believe that they actually talk to you. Not meaning to you, that they actually talk to men who are not their husbands who are clearly older than them.
I gotta say, one thing that I don't know what it is about me. Maybe it's because I'm not.
Maybe you just don't care.
First of all, I don't care. Second of all, I suppose my appearance, they're not threatened by it.
Yeah.
That could be another thing.
So by me, I guess I just look like Ahmed, the live terrorist.
I don't know. Perhaps
I have that look. So they are not as forthcoming in talking to me. I don't know. I don't know what it is, man. I really don't know what it is.
I think,
I this past Shabbos, I had some friends inflate my ego and tell me I'm this and I'm that and whatever, and how's it that I'm single. And I'm just like, well, you could have fooled me, man, because you should see the girls that people try to set me up with. I mean, I'm sorry. I hate to sound whatever, but you really could have fooled me, bro. It's like the proof is not in the pudding in this case. Okay. Something is not, there's an incongruency here, let's put it that way, between what people are saying to me and what the results that I'm finding. You know what I mean?
I think a person can sense, especially women, they can sense an energy, which is like, whether like here's the energy. I might be open to it, but if it doesn't happen, it's not gonna rock my world.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
but it has to be real. You can't never, that's unfakeable.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've been able to do that because I think like
Again, it's easy to do that when you're, or, I mean, I can say this when I
no,
was.
no, no. I'm talking about this is a
20
lifelong. This is a lifelong thing. Stop blaming me for being married.
No, I'm not blaming you. What do you
I
mean?
was a person before I was married too.
I'm not blaming you. I'm just, okay.
Okay, so
Well-
I literally, I don't know if it was if I bumped my head during one of the fights or something like that, but at some point
You're like that guy from Office Space when he just
from
fell.
a community, right, that we talked about.
No, from Office Space when he fell. When he in the hypnosis thing, and then he woke up and he didn't care about anything.
Oh, that's something else.
When he destroyed his cubicle and the
We
boss.
talked about I thought you were talking about what we referred to before a couple of conversations ago. We were talking about one of the characters, Britta from Community. She was in love with this Carney.
Yeah, also that, yeah.
He didn't give a damn at all about her, and she was obsessed with him. He didn't give a damn about anything because there was something in his brain.
Can I tell you something, man? So it's funny because in my 20s, I didn't give a damn, or I gave less of a damn, and I gave that off. That was the aura I gave off, and the results were commensurate. In my, basically since I became frum, which is age of 31, 32, and then you go on 30, and then mid 30s, there's this whole zeitgeist and there's this whole kind of energy swirling around of, every 2 seconds, there's this, you got to get married, 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 you got to get married. And it's drilled into my head. And now I'm, 41. So now I'm just like drilling myself.
I got something for you. I got
So what I'm saying is the pressure's literally been on for 10 years to the point where I've cared for 10 years, and caring is written. Dude, I always say women are like mikubalim. It's written and they read the shit written on your forehead.
Dude, look at the state of the religious Jewish community. I don't think there's anything to look at and say, oh, that's functioning well.
I know, but the point is, it doesn't matter because I didn't know that. That's number one. Number two, even if it's functioning well or not, at the end of the day, it's time to get married and
right. So let it go and move on. You have to
let it go?
Meaning, like, there's nothing you can do about the time that you spent, let's say, not using the correct.
I'm not talking about the time I spent. I'm talking about now. Like, I have to get married, and that shows.
I understand.
And I can't. My problem is that I care. That's my problem.
Okay, so
I care very much.
Let me tell you, I was just thinking back, like, how did I get to this point to be such a person that, especially when it came to relationships with the opposite sex, that I stopped caring. I remember, okay. First of all, I was extremely awkward. So growing up as a child, I was very, very shy, like painfully.
I was also.
And also, I didn't feel like I, looked like everybody else.
Same.
I'm not saying I didn't have like a self-hatred. I just noticed that I didn't look like there's something that everybody else had that was more in common than what I looked like from a different place. Okay. And so when I really, really cared, right, in the early years of my life, I was it's like there's like 5,000 knives in my heart.
Yeah.
Instead of just cut to pieces, and they're still there, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I at some point, like, I didn't have much hope, or, I didn't want it anymore because I learned, whether or not correctly or not, that it seemed to be a pointless exercise. It didn't seem like it's for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Which obviously was very painful when you're 11, 12, or that kind of thing. Okay. So, so even after that time, right, when I started to feel that way, right, I don't know if this is a coincidence, Greg, but all of a sudden I started to get more interested parties in myself than before.
No, it makes, listen, again.
I don't know. It could be a coincidence. I don't know.
No, it makes total sense. And
Because
again,
I also grew. I grew up physically. I got bigger, stronger. I don't know. I guess there was
listen, man,
more interest than I could imagine, right? But by that time, I already was the type of person. I can never go back to that excited kid who who really wants it that bad. Like I've never returned to that.
Yeah.
And
man, in my 20s,
yeah, go ahead.
In my 20s, I didn't give a damn. I really didn't give a damn. I mean, I gave a damn a little bit, but I didn't. I gave a damn. You know when? I gave a damn in my early 20s, and then at some point I just stopped. Right. And then again, and then when I became religious, I started giving a damn again.
Big mistake.
Yeah, man, I know. But I was not, I don't want to say I was forced to give a damn. It was just, again, I got swept up in the whole frenzy of people who give a damn.
Listen,
which is seemingly everybody. And everybody who meets you, oh, you're single? I must give you a shidduch. Must. Really? You must? I must get married? I must. Even to the person you're setting me up with? I must? I have to? This woman, dude, at Shabbos, she asked me and my friend, she saw, because what happened? She has 10 sons, and 8 of them are married and 2 are not. Who are the 2? The one who's 37 and the one who's 41. So she meets me and my friend. My friend is 37 or 38. I'm 41. And she goes to both of us. She's like this New York, Brooklyn woman. She's like, are both of you commitment phobes? I wanted to ask her, are you a punch in the face phobe?
Dude,
you have a phobia of getting punched in the face?
Okay. Relax.
You know what I'm saying? No, I'm very relaxed. I'm super relaxed right now, man.
Relax, Pico. Take it easy. Okay. So what I want to I have something, to respond to you. Okay. So
it's like Slimer. You talk to these people, you feel like you're talking to Slimer from Ghostbusters. You get slime.
That was from the cartoon. I was like,
yeah, that's what they sound like, and then you get slime all over you.
I love Slimer. Slimer was the cutest.
Yeah. I'd rather get a shidduch from Slimer than from these people.
Well, he has a lot of experience, but no, but we talked about this before too. Remember, I was saying how I wanted to take like the rabbis and take them through the, just give them a sample of the type of thing that we experience in life.
Yeah.
Right. Like the things that we tried to do, the places we went, clubbing, Darren Emerson, Sigweed, Victor Calderon, right? Then you take them to some, like diner at 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah. Have them had some calamari with cheese fries.
Right. Then you show them the primary thing that I would want them to understand is our experience with the type of women that we grew up with, grew up around, and see all the time. What are we? And then once they understand what, where we come from, like the environment that we emerged from, they would not try to make the shidduchim that they are trying to make.
Dude, I've said whatever you just said right now. I've said this to many of my friends. Literally the exact sentences, or at least the part about the women. Like I said to my friend, I'm like, dude, if the reason I get, it's not that I get upset at these people. I just kind of like, it really annoys me because it's almost like you said, remember how you were talking about people who were, we were talking about the people who like had to drop any inconvenience and it's like a downfall for them. It's like a depressing thing. That's kind of like for me with becoming frum in the sense of the, I don't know, the caliber of women that I meet. It's a real freaking, again, no offense to anybody listening. It's a real freaking downgrade.
You see, the thing is like,
I went from like Mercedes to Pintos. Like speaking of Pintos, the back of my car is exploding, going on fire.
Let me do a Norm Macdonald. Somebody says, well, why can't you find a nice, shidduch girl? You see, the thing is, the where I come from, right? The type of girls that you're around, it's all about exuding sexual excitement.
Yeah.
Attract, and that's what you're looking for, and that's But and that's basically what the girls are like, especially when they get confident or they like a guy, and then so that's what's being expressed, which is the exact opposite of the way Orthodox Jewish girls are taught to be.
Yeah.
To show as little of that as possible.
Like as little interest as possible. For what reason?
Right, as little excitement. Like if any of them have, that kind of impulse, like that Lamborghini saleswoman, right? Yeah. They might want to be up to no good, but they definitely don't show it, and they're definitely not comfortable.
They immediately shut it down. They only show it to their friends. They're total.
Actually, they really don't show it to anybody for the most part. Okay,
for like one friend that they go home and like, oh my god, this guy, in a good way. They're like,
yeah. So
you'll never hear it from her directly.
Right. So basically, when it comes to like the shit of dating, right, for a guy who's coming from the outside. From the didn't grow up Orthodox, right? So, if he had any level of fun and success in his life, especially like socially, like with women, right?
Yeah.
So it's such a culture shock.
Yeah.
It's an everything shock.
Yeah. It is.
Shock, okay. Yeah. And the guy is expected to completely, like, the guy is a round peg in a square hole.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so that's what it's like. It's you have to like smush yourself to accommodate. Like you must make yourself uncomfortable to make the other person.
Dude, that's what I found. I had to make myself small.
Hang on. Who's completely unconscious of your discomfort?
Yeah.
To start with. Like it would be different if the person understood like the difficulty, you know what I mean, and how, and you have to literally like.
Dude, can I tell you something? Can I tell you a story based on what you're saying? I'll tell you a quick story.
Okay.
Right after my engagement broke off, for the final time, for the final nail in the coffin, what I call moment, I met this girl at a shiur, actually at an event, but we started talking about this rabbi that we both like, whatever it is, and she's also a Baal Tshuva, and she eventually got married. This is years later, but like when we met, it was very much like we kind of hit it off. And this is like 2 weeks after the final time I broke up with my ex, and we went on 3 dates. We had an amazing time. But obviously I was, for me, it's one of those things where like, obviously it was a Shomer Negia situation, so nobody touched anybody. But there was always that, she's a Baal Tshuva, she's my age. And she was always like, there was always that hint that like, she was waiting for me to do something physically, And after the third date or during the third date, she basically blurted out to me. She's like, I feel like we are, at the end, I think it was, I wanted to hang out with her again. She's like, I feel like there's like a friends vibe. AKA, she put me in the friend zone.
Yeah.
And automatically I went in my head, I was like, man, this Shomer Negia thing has just taken my balls and
because
caught them off.
Because you were paired with a girl, right, who's not Shomer Negia and doesn't.
No, I wasn't paired with her. We just hit it off at some event.
Whatever it is, you were put in a situation with her, a girl who obviously.
No, from what I understood, she was Shomer Negia. I knew she was. I was told she was.
Of course, you're going to be told, but based on her reaction, obviously, it's not something that she was trying to do or value.
You want to know something funny? And I think we must have tried to date, quote unquote date, on a few occasions after that, for like literally it was like a song and dance for like 3 or 4 years.
For the folks at home, Shomer Negia, the word Shomer means to guard. Negia means touch.
Yeah.
Meaning you don't touch anybody before you're married. Continue. Sorry.
So a mutual friend of ours, this girl, she at one point just blurted out to me something like, who's also a Baal Tshuva and who's also like believes in the whole Shomer Negiah thing, but she blurted out to me something like, "Just make a move. Next time you see her, just like make a move." And what? What'd you say?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought I heard a noise. And then I said to her, I'm like, if I do, she's probably gonna slap me. And I don't know, it's just this whole like weird thing.
Dude, what you see, there's some things that it takes a while for somebody who's new to the Orthodox community to realize, to come to terms with.
Yeah.
Okay. There was a friend of mine many years ago who kind of coined this phrase for me. He goes, "Yeah, but between you and me, no."
Exactly.
There's a lot of between you and me that
you
can't imagine. That they won't say it.
It's called tricks. It's called tricks of the trade.
Basically, just to kind of make sure that I'm clear, what I'm saying is, like, you talk about a person, right? And let's say you're talking about keeping Shabbos, okay?
Yeah.
And you're talking about like a person, like, do you think they would turn the lights on and off on Shabbos if it was like convenient, right? So, conversation. This is actually a conversation I had. So the person replied, "Yeah, but between you and me, no." Meaning, like, they would, if it got very inconvenient or whatever, they get like flustered, they'll turn the lights on and off just out of frustration. Yeah. The point is, they're not Shomer Shabbos.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. That's when you cut through all the shit. That's what it means. Not Shomer Shabbos.
Dude, so am I just
who doesn't observe the Sabbath?
So am I just a naive tzaddik who just actually does what he claims that he, or at least did at one point?
You're definitely naive.
I'm a sucker.
I'm not gonna say you're a tzaddik. That's what you're.
No, I'm a sucker. I'm a friar. I got sucked into
this. Yeah. When you have like a person who is new to it and very enthusiastic about it because they realize the Torah is real, right? And then you're faced. You don't understand that the people that you are going to in the Orthodox community are human beings, right? Yeah. Just because they look a certain way doesn't mean they understand what you understand.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. It took me almost 20, no, I wouldn't say 20 years. I mean, I am, again, my IQ score wasn't that high, but it wasn't that low either. Okay? So I think it took me a solid 10 years to actually come to grips with the idea. Like, hold on a second. Is that girl not actually religious? Yeah. And then you have, and then I
the words of Rabbi Mizrahi, fake religious.
Essentially fake or pressured, socially pressured to appear a certain way. That's a more accurate term.
Or as my friend, Yemenite friend, likes to say.
That's important. By the way, let's hold on to your Yemenite friend. I just wanted to make a point that when I'm saying what I'm saying, I'm talking about a person who they grew up in a observant home with observant parents, but who, for whatever reason, did not successfully communicate to the child why it is worthwhile to be that way.
Yeah.
Okay. So the child didn't know what doesn't know what the parents know, or doesn't feel the way that the parents feel, and so culturally they're pressured, for family not to disappoint the family. But what do they have in their head? How do they feel? We don't know. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying? So to me, when I was, enthusiastic, I was like, anybody in proximity to the Torah must know what I know. That's so amazing, right? No, almost no one does.
Most people do not. They not only don't, they just don't even want to. And the ones that heard about it think it's just cute.
No, I don't think that they don't want to. I think that, like, I've had conversations with like people who grew up in religious households. When I talk to them about certain things, we talk about verses. Show them a code. I show them a balaturim. For the folks at home, there's a commentator on the Torah, the 5 books. Yeah. He was also a halachic, a Jewish a legal authority. I
Hmm.
think he lived in the 1300s,
Yeah.
and he wrote a book called Baal Haturim.
Yeah.
Okay, and then he also
And then they named a train stop after him, Haturi.
Yeah.
In Jerusalem.
Yeah. and then so when a rabbi writes a book, so it's almost like the title of the book becomes the name of the rabbi. So we say
Like the Beis Halevi or something like that.
Yeah, I think his name was Rabbi.
I am the house of Levium.
Yeah, I think the actual rabbi's name was Rabbi Yaakov ben Usher ben Yaakov. I regret that I'm a little embarrassed that I can't remember his name. But
Yosef Dov Soloveitchik, Beis Halevi.
Right. But basically the name of the commentary that he wrote on the 5 books of Moses is called the Baal Turim, and he wrote this in the 1300s. Okay, and he was it's all codes, all of it. Yeah. His commentary is an introduction to understanding gematria and letter permutation and many different levels of codes, and just the astounding volume that he shares with us. Just that's not even scratching the surface. Yeah. Like that's the way. So and that's fully.
Is this part of the tradition? Is this Sefer HaRamazim or that's something?
No. This is called the Baal Torah. Just they even have an art scroll.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at his work. They write on Wikipedia his works. There's Arba Ahaturim. There's Sefer HaRamazim or Kitzer Piskei HaRosh. There's Rimzei Balaturim. There's Perush Alatorah.
Perush Alatorah.
That's the one. Here it says mainly from Nachmanides. Copied.
Right. For the folks at home, Perush means commentary. Al HaTorah means on the Torah. Okay, that's it. Right. So I'm just saying that it's not. It shouldn't be that foreign to an Orthodox Jewish person, and in fact, it wasn't foreign to Orthodox Jewish people until this generation, which is strange because it wasn't even published as much as it's published now. It's so available now, and nobody's looking at it.
Yep.
Okay.
I think that's the problem.
But for the folks at home, there's a great series of videos. Anybody who's interested in learning the Torah with Rashi's commentary, which is the classic commentary, that's the primary tradition, and also with Baal Turim, there's Rabbi Gordon, there's the famous Rabbi Gordon who had a weekly parsha, which means the portion of the Torah, the weekly portion of the Torah class, where he goes through the verses, he reads the commentary of the classic commentary of Rashi and the Baal Torah.
Yeah.
You don't even have to buy, if you go through the series of lectures, and he's a wise guy too. Love the guy. Yeah. He passed away, I think in 2017, unfortunately. But his videos are still there, So anyway, we didn't know that they didn't know that, right, Greg?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so you're dealing with people who are human beings, and they have questions, and many of them are unsatisfied, but they still have a pressure, a social pressure to look and act a certain way.
Yeah.
Okay, so it took a long time to realize that that's what we're going to be encountering.
Yeah.
And
with all that said, I at some point came to my senses on what I was mentioning to you in terms of the Shomer Negia thing, and I started once again looking in what we call the Masorti sector of society, traditional spiritual women, not even necessarily Shomer Shabbos yet, or Shomer Kashrut yet.
Let's cut through the shit for a second, okay? I'm sorry, I don't mean to, but Masorti essentially just means a person who is like, they're not really, their level of observance. The word Masorti does not really describe level of observance. It describes more of a mindset.
Yeah.
I believe in God. I respect the tradition, and that kind of thing. That's it. That's essentially what it is. So
and I listen. I find that there's more of a pull from that group of
it's a
people.
much larger pool because
Much larger pool, but also like people, women who I'm attracted to exist in that pool. Not only that, by the way, not only that, I'm finding that there's a lot of wokeitude in the Frum community, both FFB, or especially modern Orthodox, and also Baal Tshuva. And I'm finding that the women who have, who hold by where you and I hold by, at least politically and ideologically, tend to be in the Masorti community.
I want to make a public service announcement.
Yeah.
To the Orthodox Jewish women who are trying to be woke.
Yeah.
I personally, I only hear about this from you. I haven't like experienced it that much.
That's because you don't leave your house. That's why.
You're creating a. It's not fair what you're doing. You're not painting me correctly. You created a straw man that you can easily knock down, and it's not cool, Greg. You're functioning like a leftist now.
Yes.
In this one regard.
Yes.
But I'm just saying that for any of you Orthodox Jewish women out there, or men also, anybody trying to be woke,
oh my God, it's
right?
the worst. You ever meet a woke from me? Ugh.
Yes.
A man.
I mean, I actually haven't met that many.
Smart.
But I have interacted with a few online, not positive interaction.
Twitter is teeming with these freaking people.
Okay, so here's the public service announcement for that demographic.
Yeah.
Orthodox Jewish people who are trying to be woke. You're going to be the first to be eaten by them.
Yes, correct.
You're not impressing them.
Correct.
That's it.
Yeah, you're not impressing them, nor are you, because a lot of them do it because they think that they, like in the Lubavitch community, there's a lot of that going on. When I was in Crown Heights, believe it or not, man, when I was there, and why are they doing it? Because their parents and grandparents are like,
California?
Provincial troglodytes.
From California?
California? What do you mean?
No, anybody like, I'm just saying, like in the religious world.
They're not. No, they're not.
This is an inside joke. Like, Rabbi Baxt, he's from California, right?
Okay.
So when he was discussing, people who have seriously influenced the world, so he would often say, you have religiously, you got Jesus, a Jew, right? Then you have Einstein, science, and then Marx, the economy. And I was like, there it is, California. He can't help it. He literally can't help it. Okay. Anybody from California is infected with this disease. Yeah. And sometimes it's just pointless to even talk to them about it. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. Yeah, man. No, they're not. These people grew up in Crown Heights, and they're embarrassed by their relatives. And they just are seeking other.
They want to say we belong in this environment too. We should have a place in it. Look, we're smart too. Yeah. Embrace us. We want to.
Yeah, they got it into their heads that somehow being woke means being smart, which I don't.
That's the way it's presented. That's the psyop.
Yeah. And but a lot of the men, a lot of the guys our age and a little bit younger who are like this, they're some of the smarmiest people I ever met in my life. And it's just it's just like talking to them and being near them is just I don't know. It's really I've gone to shuls where it's like a Orthodox, it's a Shomer Shabbos Orthodox shul where like at least half of the guys are like this, and I walk in, I feel the vibe, and I walk out. Or I have friends who like still insist on going to these types of shuls because of, I don't know, it's interesting or it's this or it's that, whatever, the usual crap. Social, this, that. And I'm just like, dude, I just walk out. I walk out. I never come back again.
It's funny. You know what I think it is? You know why some of the, like you said, your friends who still want to go to these places because it's interesting?
Yeah.
So everybody has like their level of wild fun.
Our friend Stuyvesant somehow tolerates these people, and I don't.
So listen, everybody has a different level of like what they consider to be, oh man, we were crazy, we were really having a boisterous and living it up. right? There's different levels of that. Okay, I can imagine how, like, for some Orthodox guys who are a little bit, not very what's the term, rowdy, let's put it that way, right? So just having kind of like this like different element is like going out, to a strip club or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, woo, look, weirdos, like, oh, it's interesting, like they like to be around that environment. You know what I mean? So I could see why like certain people who come from certain backgrounds where, some of the stuff that me and you would consider rowdy would tear their head off, essentially. Like they just couldn't, they wouldn't be able to, their head would explode. They wouldn't be able to tolerate it or to even understand that such thing exists. So you have to understand the level, like you're talking to people, like essentially many times when you're talking to an Orthodox person, you got to understand you're talking to somebody, a provincial putz, to borrow a term from Mel Brooks. I'm sorry, I don't mean a putz. As soon as I said provincial, immediately the word putz comes out.
Every time I hear the word putz, I think of Three Putzes. They should change the name of this place from Mighty Shop to the Three Putzes.
Yeah, but the reason
you're a putz.
There's in Blazing Saddles. Anybody who's seen Blazing Saddles, right? There's this one character, the villain. I think his name is Hetty, right? He's the
Hedley Lamar.
Hetty Lamar.
The actress is Hetty Lamar. Right. Hedley Lamar.
Right. Everybody kept calling him Hetty, the famous actress. Right. So he's like, it's Hedley. Anyway, so he has this guy, this like cowboy that he employs to do a lot of his dirty work. And he called him a provincial putz.
Yeah.
Literally every time I hear the word provincial, the word putz immediately follows because of that. It has nothing to do with what we were talking about.
The actor's name is Harvey Korman, who played this Lamar.
He's hilarious. Harvey Korman is awesome.
His parents are Russian Jews, and obviously.
Harvey Korman is a Jew? Can't believe
that.
Dude, that's not... Korman could be like literally like German or Irish or so many things. It's like,
son of Ellen Blecher and Cyril Raymond, or Kirill Raymond Korman. The guy was he was in a lot of movies, a lot of these different.
Yeah, but the point is, just to get back, like, I didn't mean to call your friends or people from the Orthodox community putzes, but they are provincial.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
by definition, not because they're stupid, just because.
No, because that's the environment that they it was by design.
Yeah.
We're talking about people in Brooklyn. Brooklyn is not a provincial place, but these ghettos that were created essentially create a provincial type of person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
That's true.
And so they're not wilding out.
Yeah.
Okay. So going to a shul, a synagogue, a house of prayer that has some kind of colorful to their eyes. Characters, who have like all sorts of, interesting ideas, right? That's fun to them. That's what fun is. It's interesting.
Why is it fun to our friend Stuyvesant, even though he didn't grow up like that? Or because he's been in it? You're saying because he's been in it so long, he just misses it.
I don't know if it is, man. I don't know.
It is fun. It's very fun for him. Not fun, but like whatever.
Cool. I don't understand. Like, does he argue with them? What does he do?
No, he doesn't argue with them. He tries to not sneak in. He tries to find the things he has in common with them, which is usually DMT or ayahuasca or I don't know, something.
Yeah, Greg.
Stop.
Let's move on.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah. So basically, man, that you have to understand. It's just some of this stuff is interesting to them. Doesn't mean that they agree with it, but it's like, it's funny. It's like, let's go look at it's like a sideshow. You understand? It's exactly like going to a sideshow, like to see the bearded lady or the, or Wolf Boy, or the world's tiniest, I don't know, somebody. Okay, something. Frog Kid. That's what it's like for some of these people. So just be aware of that they're very provincial and they don't. That's their idea of excitement because they don't know much else.
Yeah.
We were originally supposed to talk about Alex Jones.
Yeah, dude. You know who?
I don't know. I actually don't know anything about it. I was hoping you would explain.
Basically, the guy is being sued I don't really know. Oh, by the parents of some of the kids of the Sandy Hook shooting. So Alex Jones, just to give the whole context, what did he do? He came out when that shooting happened, and he said he didn't say that the shooting didn't happen and the kids didn't die. What he said was, he actually said it. I was watching him on the stand today, taping of his testimony. He said that he said in advance, he's like, I apologize to the parents. I don't mean to say that. He even said it before he said what he said. What I'm saying is they allowed this to happen. The kids died, but there's something fishy going on. Kind of like Uvalde, today, right?
Yeah.
Which is why he even said, this is why I don't cover Uvalde, because I don't want to get in trouble again. I don't want to be known as the shooting guy, the school shootings guy. So, of course, he goes, the mainstream media cut out just the part that I said, the part that they wanted to use. And now everybody thinks I said Sandy Hook never happened.
So they do that all the time. You know how many times he's been taken to court? He goes to court monthly. So, I mean, the judge, if you watch who the judge, how she behaves in this trial, you want to hit her. She's constantly like, telling him what to say, not to say, how, constantly interrupting him. She's constantly like, she's literally doing the lawyers' jobs for them. With the whole like objections and all that. She literally is like, she's like the judge and the lawyer and the jury. Well, listen, we live in a banana republic.
Yeah.
Where that's what it is now.
Dude, if you look at her social media, her photos on social media, one of them is her, I don't know if it's her own hair or a blue wig, stay home and save lives. Then there's another photo, rainbow love is love or love.
Dude, there's something about anger, which makes it much harder to hold in pee. Like I was doing okay, I had to pee really hard because I drank too much Diet Coke. Okay?
There's another one. She got
hold on. You're gonna keep making me angry, and I need I think 35 seconds. All right.
Okay.
All right, do that. I'm back. Greg.
Hold on a second, man. Sorry, I'm just listening to whatever my friend's message. Anyway,
I want to let you know I'm back.
Moving along.
For the folks at home, I'm back.
Yes.
Return of the Mac.
Return of the Mac. Yeah, man. So I don't know.
That's the main song from Booty Call, right?
Could be. Yeah, man. So so she's basically like woke as a joke. This judge, and everybody on. I'm reading the Twitter. What exactly is the problem here? It doesn't look like she's breaking any laws or being bribed.
Okay, but there's more to making jokes and bribing. There are other bad things besides that.
Yeah.
Right? Like being an activist judge. There's nothing worse than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's literally the opposite of the job description.
Yeah.
So that's all you wanted to say about Alex Jones?
No, listen. I saw his testimony. The guy, this lawyer was asking him about his history of his show and his broadcasting career. I mean, by and large, he let him speak and say whatever his piece was, but like, I don't know. It just seems like these people are trying to get just as much, money, basically all his money. They're trying to ruin him, like ruin him to the point of that he doesn't even exist anymore. To the point of that he can't even. They're trying to ruin him, What I don't understand is there's a lot of stuff that you can listen to what he said in the last few years that literally came true. A lot of people say, well, yeah, if you say all this stuff and like, a bunch of things, like 1,000 things, but some of them's bound to come true. I'm like, no, the percentage of the things that he said
much higher than everyone else.
Way high. The truth of what, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's just amazing.
Also, he understood from the get-go. I remember him talking about, like, even I've been listening to Alex Jones, for many, many years. Okay. And I find myself agreeing with, like, just be fair, like, be honest, almost 30% of some of the things that he says. Okay. Mm. Which is shockingly high. And not just because it's Alex Jones. I'm talking about anybody.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but he was talking about aliens before I would even take this subject seriously. And not only that, he knew that it was a spiritual thing. He never described it as aliens. He described it as entities. I mean, he would describe it, I think, as demonic or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's right about that, or not entirely. Okay, there's various things. It's not all demonic. That's a very Christian view, generally. Okay, which Alex is. Okay, but at least he understood that it is actually a spiritual phenomenon. It's more than just nuts and bolts, aircraft and just biological beings from some other planet like ours. Or something like that. It's way more than that. Way more than that.
Yeah.
So,
dude, there's a headline right now today. UN declares war on dangerous conspiracy theories. The world is not secretly manipulated by global elite. And I wrote, conspirators declare war. Let me do this in Norm Macdonald voice. Conspirators declare war on people who accuse them of conspiring.
Yeah. Hold on. I want to play. Even though he's a schmuck now, Jim Gaffigan, Bears. Look up Jim Gaffigan Bears.
Before I do that, Tedros, the head of the World Health Organization, said that he's not vaxxed because he's protesting, because if he's Ethiopian, all of a sudden now he's Ethiopian again, and Ethiopia hasn't gotten any vax, which means we're failing as a world, as a planet. And so I'm protesting. Therefore, I'm not getting the vaccine. I didn't get the vaccine.
What he's trying to say is he wants to put himself in danger. He's not going to allow himself to benefit from it because he's failing. Wow.
Such a tzaddik. And he's such a tzaddik. And then when everybody dies.
Standing ovation. Like, that is just a slow clap.
Yeah.
I'm going to call, what's that guy's full name?
I'll tell you what his full name is. Here.
I respect that level.
Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus.
Okay, so I'm gonna call him Tedros Tiberius Ghebreyesus.
Yeah.
Okay. If I could pronounce his name, I'd say it just like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Shocking. shocking, the balls.
Yeah.
It's not even balls. It's just a level of cynicism. You know,
Yeah.
like, does he laugh internally every time he says that, or does he just openly laugh?
Yeah, it's just I don't think he like. I don't know.
Wow. That is brilliant, actually. I mean, that really is. That's almost like debating the meaning of the word "is," like Clinton did.
Yeah.
You know, what is? I'm looking for. I don't understand. I'm looking. I saw this clip by Jim Gaffigan about bears.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was something like when he went camping, and he's like, you know, they warn you about bears. What they say is, if you see a bear and he's getting close, just lie down and play dead.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what it says, like in the pamphlet. And then it's like, if you look closely, it was.
There you go, running into a bear. I see it.
All right, go ahead. Let's see. This might be it.
He doesn't inject.
Oh God, it's out of here. Oh my God, there's 2 ads.
2 ads.
Disney Plus. Go blank. Go.
Swallowed you.
And we immediately went on a hike. And it was great. Alaska's beautiful. My kids were having fun. I was pretending like I enjoyed being outside.
This is not the one. This is not. This is something else. Yeah. Anyway,
there's King Baby Camping. There's one with camping.
Yeah. That's where it's from.
Oh, Dodge the Bear Attack. That time. This one.
King Baby Camping.
This one. Okay.
Sure, but I don't know how long that clip is.
It's like 4 minutes.
Okay.
For this next joke, and I married a woman who loves to camp, and I am what you would call indoorsy. I'm surprised we can still get people to camp. Hey, want to burn a couple of vacation days sleeping on the ground outside? No. What if I told you get the crap standing up in the woods? I still wouldn't want to go. You wake up freezing, covered in a rash. All right, I'll go. My wife always brings up, camping's a tradition in my family. Hey, it was a tradition in everyone's family till we came up with a house. My parents never took me to camping. You know why? Because they loved me. It'll get you closer to nature. I want to keep the relationship professional. Outside, why are all the bugs trying to get in my house? Some places you have to pay to camp. You have to pay to sleep outside. That's gotta be insulting to the homeless people. How much does cost you? I live out here! That must be really expensive. Occasionally at the campsite, you'll see the Winnebago. That's kind of cheating, isn't it? Oh, that's what I forgot. My house. There's always that one couple at every campsite that's been camping for way too long. They have the folding chairs, the Christmas lights in July. We'd love to have you for dinner. I'm sure you would. Now, how do I get a padlock on my tent so we're not eaten by Ma and Pa Dahmer?
Okay.
Happy camper. Has anyone ever really been a happy camper? Because whenever we use that term, we're being sarcastic. He is not a happy camper. Why don't we just call him a camper? It's miserable. You know who's a happy camper? The guy leaving the campsite. He's the happiest camper. He gets to take a shower. He ruined camping for me. To be fair, it is beautiful during the day. But at night, you're always like, we're all gonna die! There's monsters out there! I see their eyes!
Can I ask you, what are we waiting for?
The Bears. It's coming up.
Okay.
I wouldn't be so scared if I wasn't sleeping in a bag. Hey, let's pre-package ourselves for the serial killer, huh? I can't get away, can you? I can hop for a little, but I'm dead meat. You ever have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night? You always look at your friends. Nice knowing you. Anyone want to come and get killed with me, or you want to get killed looking for me? We're all dead. It's not just serial killers. There's bears out there. Last time I went, I got this pamphlet that said if a bear approaches, you're supposed to play dead. Really? We're going to rely on my acting skills? Play dead? Who came up with that? Maybe the Bears? play dead, cover yourself in honey, climb on a large white plate. Don't try to run away from us. I mean the bears. How does that even work? There's a bear.
So you're saying that's the
globalist. That's the UN. You know, they're the bears telling us to lie down and play dead. And you know, I mean the bears. That's a perfect metaphor.
Unbelievable. I don't know. It's just
by not questioning the conspiracy, right? Or not. That's like, you know, putting yourself on a plate and lying.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. These guys are like Obi-Wan Kenobi. No, there isn't a conspiracy theory. Okay, thank you. That clears it up.
Jedi mind trick. Yeah.
That clear. No, these guys are all reposting it. They're like, well, that clears it up. The UN is fighting this. Wow.
Folks at home, the UN is shit. The World Health Organization is shit. The National Institute of Health is shit. The FDA is shit. Everything is a joke. These people are clowns. They're worse than clowns.
Yeah.
They're murderous clowns. Actually, clowns aren't that bad.
Yeah.
You know, they get a bad rap. These people are murderers, and they are not experts.
Yeah.
They are hustlers.
They're just charlatans. They're just like, you know what they remind me of? They remind me of the volcano insurance salesman in Family Guy. You ever see this?
No.
There's an episode here. Here you go. Here. This is the banned episode when Peter decided to get a Jewish accountant. So here. This guy is dressed in like a checkered suit. By the way, a lot of these kind of froom guys who wear these kind of suits remind me of him. But anyway, that's a separate story.
The lesbian sister of math, my dear boy, is nothing more than the lesbian sister of biology.
I love it.
Hello, sir.
Enough with the foreplay, Sailor. What are you selling?
Well, I was going to try to sell you some handsome cream, but I can see you already bought out the store.
Go on.
So perhaps you'd be interested in something every homeowner cannot be without. Volcano insurance.
Uh-huh.
Go on.
According to my uncle, who's a real whiz with volcanoes.
My uncle's a real whiz of volcano. This is how they prove to us about experts, you know?
A volcano is coming this way.
Yeah.
I too have an uncle.
And this is how people are like, I too have an uncle.
Come in. How much is this volcano insurance?
I don't know. Let's say $200.
$200? That's more than I spent on all that handsome cream. I don't have that kind of money.
What about that jar of money?
No way, that's Lois's rainy day fund.
Come on. It never rains in Rhode Island?
Well, yeah, but I'm pretty sure we've never had a volcano either.
Well, don't you think we're overdue for one?
Touche, salesman.
That's a good clip, man. That's exactly that's what's going on.
Yeah. Oh, listen to what he says when they catch him.
Now, please leave a message.
Man, I hate these things. Yeah, hi, this is Peter Griffin. I'm sorry I missed.
He's literally in his office facing him.
Look, sir, I have reviewed this contract and it offers no coverage at all. It just says volcano insurance over and over again. And down here in small print, it says he's signing it. I can't believe it. So just for fun,
it's Pfizer, dude. It's momish Pfizer.
Yeah.
It's like in your face. Ugh.
Here. Money. How about that money? No way. That's Lois's rainy day fund. Oh, damn it.
Dude, it's just like, I don't know. I don't know how more obvious it could be.
You know, I kind of understand how they feel. They have the power of the psyop, right? They use techniques. They use what's the word I'm looking for, Greg?
Mind tricks, whatever. Yeah.
No, I'm saying they use the archetypes. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? They have a language which is effective against human beings. Okay, and they use it all the time. And then when it works, they're like filled with like this kind of like sociopathic joy.
Yeah.
That look how stupid they are. Look how powerful I am.
Yeah.
Look what competitor I am, and
Yeah.
look what kind of prey. Look how easy prey they are. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The closest thing I've ever come to actually feeling that was I must have been about 9.
Yeah.
Where I convinced this girl that I was the stunt double for Daryl.
For who?
There's a movie called Daryl, another 80s movie.
Oh yeah, you told me about this. Yeah.
A robot boy, right?
Yeah.
And he was built by the military.
Yeah, you told me this.
Kind of an action movie.
Yeah.
And so he needed a stunt double, the actor, and I was a stunt double. Okay.
Yeah.
I was shocked that she believed me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I realized like I actually, delivered it in a plausible way. Like there's no, you know what I mean? Like it's not like I didn't just tell her that I dropped out of my bed and ended up in Hollywood just randomly. You know, I said something plausible. Like I lied to her. Yeah. Apparently I was a good liar at 9. I'm sure my mother would agree with that. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but that was the last time, but I remember that. I was shocked.
Yeah.
That's how they feel. Folks,
Yeah,
that's how Gates and that whole crew feel when they look at you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep. Well, sir,
I have another 3 minutes of things to say. Okay. So, but I just wanted to change gears.
Well, that's good because I have another 3 minutes of things I can tolerate.
Fantastic. See, perfect match. So, just kind of, this is just to change gears, UAP thing. So there's a Tucker Carlson, he had a guest on. I sent you the link. I don't know if you got a chance to look at it. His name is Gary Nolan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did watch some of it, right?
I watched a little bit of it, yeah.
So Gary Nolan is a guy, he's a scientist at Stanford, which, nowadays, it used to be impressive to say that, but who knows nowadays, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this guy has a lot of accomplishments in terms of developing diagnostic tools for blood tests, brain scans, DNA tests, and all that kind of stuff. So he's like one of the world's experts, and he builds machines to analyze what something is made of. Essentially. So that's why he has, he makes good diagnostic tools, and he has unique machines that the government goes to him frequently to answer difficult questions about materials. So he was being interviewed by Tucker Carlson, and for many years, the government has been coming to him to diagnose or to scan people who have had physical contact with UAPs, with UFOs, okay? And to see what physical changes occurred in their bodies. And also, there was materials that were recovered from crashes, let's say, or whatever, okay? Which they went to him only, essentially, to analyze it. And this guy has several patents, and he has a lot of commercial ventures as well. So and that impresses me more than than him being a Stanford professor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was on Tucker Carlson, I think yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay? And he was essentially saying that he said that UAPs are real, and the intelligence community and the academic community who is involved with this topic with the government, they essentially feel that this is something not of this earth. Okay, so that was said on Tucker Carlson. Like Tucker Carlson interviewed him for like 45 minutes. So I'm not giving too much street cred to Tucker Carlson or to Gary Nolan, but the rest of the world does give them a lot of street cred, and he's very popular, right? Tucker Carlson, he has tens of millions of viewers. So it was a big platform, very, very public. So I consider Gary Nolan as a symbol of a prestigious academic being interviewed by a very prestigious and well-known media figure who communicates to millions of people. So that I think that's a very significant, push forward in informing people about the situation. Okay, and also I showed you that interview with Tim Burchett, right, the congressman from Tennessee, right, and that was yesterday. And today I wake up, the first thing I see, Tim Burchett is being promoted, is being supported by Trump for his candidacy.
Yeah.
So Tim Burchett is the congressional UFO dude. Okay. And then he's being promoted by Trump. I just think like the synchronicity of all these things is very, very interesting to me. To me, it's kind of a sign of things progressing. Again, nauseatingly slow, but it's something, and I think I should report it. And just the last thing I want to say, we're talking about what is it, how are we going to measure success of this podcast?
Yeah.
So there's three things I can think of. The first and I guess the least important, however important, is financial. Okay. The second is popularity. But the main success, like if this happens and God forbid the other two don't, I would still consider it a major success. If we were to create a situation where the rabbis are now forced to look at this topic, familiarize themselves with it, and then begin answering questions.
Yeah.
That would be the primary success.
These people will say, don't you have anything better to do, like study Torah?
No, that's what it's going to start. Look, everything that Manis Friedman talks about, literally everything, that's what they used to say about all the stuff that he talks about.
I know.
And then people kept pushing, and it was whatever, So this shouldn't be any different, but in fact, it's far more important.
I could just imagine Manis Friedman giving that kind of wry smile if you ask him about it, and goes, "How is it going to change your life?"
And then when everybody walks out of the room, when everybody walks out of the room out of frustration, the next time he'll actually begin to address the question.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I want to get. That's the situation that I would like to.
At least on a philosophical level, he'll address it.
And it's funny. Like I've heard Manis Friedman actually. He was discussing the Tower of Babel incident. Okay. And he was discussing, we have a classic Masorah, a tradition, a commentary about the different factions that were working together to build the tower. There were three factions. One of them wanted to leave the earth and travel by means of some sort of transportation device, which would be launched from the tower to the moon, where there is an existing colony. He said that. I've read that independently elsewhere. I was shocked that he actually said that out loud, because that's not a very, that's one of the things that when you read in the Torah tradition and you read the statements of some of the rabbis, which they're not popular today with the type of personalities that we interact with, right? Rationalists, supposed rationalists. So they're not, they're embarrassed. They turn, they blush when they read something like that. From the rabbis, from the the tradition from the previous generations. Okay, so but he actually said it out loud. And then there was another time where he was talking about, it was one of the parshas having to do with the Exodus, and he's talking about the Egyptians, and he's talking about the high level of knowledge of science that the Egyptians had. And he also, in other situations, he was talking about the high level of knowledge of science and physics, of nature and technology that the pre-flood generation had. And that the Egyptians had some of it, but they didn't want to share. All this kind of stuff is stuff that you hear like ancient alien dudes talk about. So he's kind of circling the drain in a sense. I shouldn't say it like that. I was just being a wise guy, but he's kind of like he's in the perimeter. He's on the edge of this topic. I've noticed, and I'd like to think the reason he even mentions this when it's very rarely mentioned is because he senses something on the horizon that he needs to kind of begin to just kind of hang out in the periphery of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe it's too much wishful thinking.
I don't know. Maybe
if we still had Rabbi Ari Kaplan with us, he would be the dominant.
Of course he would.
All right, he was so ahead of his time.
Of course he would. But people will say, "Oh, it's like those books that they have in the Baal Tshuva yeshivas, those cute books with the meditation. Oh, the meditation in Kabbalah with the Avraham Avinu picture on it."
Only spiritual giants make statements like that, Greg.
Yeah.
They don't need any of those cutesy things, right? They have their solid faith.
Yeah. I can only tell you this. There's a guy who just tweeted something along the lines of this guy, Adam Morgan. I don't know, some like literary critic guy. He tweeted out, when you turn 35, you should win an... What?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. It was like an echo. When you turn 35, you should win an itemized list of all the people you didn't realize were flirting with you in your 20s.
I'd like to do that. I confess.
Yeah. And then this woman last asked, "May I ask, Adam, are you a male? Is it truly a thing? Guys not recognizing that girls are flirting with them? Asking for a friend. No, actually asking for me."
Yeah.
Yeah, we sometimes don't realize it. Or if we do, we don't.
I was the most clueless person. I think
Same.
I might still be one of the most clueless people ever.
Same.
I have, apparently, it didn't happen often, but occasionally, and people are like, "What's wrong with you?" The girl.
Dude, in my high school,
really?
When I moved to Jersey, there was this girl who I guess she was in my class. She was Irish, so it doesn't really matter. Who, I guess you can put her in the category of popular crew. And she was constantly staring at me. Most of these girls ignored me. Most of these girls thought I was nothing. They thought I was like a cockroach. This girl always stared at me, and I always wondered, why is she staring at me? Is there something on my face?
You cockroach. She thought that you looked like her uncle, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Dude, this girl's like Irish.
Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis. He's Irish.
Okay. And I just, whatever. I was like, okay, I don't know if I should do something about this. I don't even know. Wouldn't even know how.
By the way, if you go to Ireland, and I know a lot of Irish people.
Yeah, they're dark. Some of them are dark.
Some of them are dark. Some of them have like dark features, and
Dude, my friend Ian McGonigal, the professor, he's like, yeah, he's brown hair.
Look at what's his name. First of all, there's two guys you got to look at right away.
Mm-hmm.
Scotch Irish, whatever. You got to look at Sean Connery, who looks like an old Israeli uncle.
Yeah.
Okay? Even when he was young.
He acts like an old Israeli uncle.
Even when he was young. By
Dude,
the way,
can I play to people what he said?
My uncle Felix looked a lot like him in his youth.
Dude, can I play Sean Connery talking to Barbara? This is like a 1-minute clip.
Yeah.
This is the best. And maybe we'll just end off on this, speaking of which.
I know Sean Connery regrets this conversation. You did an interview in which you said, it's not the worst thing to slap a woman.
Hold on a second, there's just background noise. Hello? Sorry about that, man.
Yeah.
People just start talking to me without any...
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, no, I know, because I went on mute. Okay.
Now and then, as I remember, you said you don't do it with a clenched fist, it's better to do it with an open hand. Yeah, remember that? Yeah. I didn't love that.
I haven't changed my opinion.
You haven't?
Talking about slapping women.
You think it's good to slap a woman?
No, I don't think it's good.
You don't think it's bad?
I don't think it's that bad. I think that it depends.
Why don't you shut up, bitch, and let him answer the question?
What would matter?
And then he should have slapped her.
Well, I've tried everything else, and women are pretty good at this. They can't leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
They
don't want to have the last word, and you give them the last word, but they're not happy with the last word. They want to say it again and get into a really provocative situation. Then I think it's absolutely right.
By the way, Sean Connery has been married to Micheline for 31 years, and we have not heard a single complaint.
Exactly. We have not heard a single complaint.
I doubt that Mr. Connery has ever actually slapped a woman outside of his character on a. And the truth is, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I'm not gonna go out of my way to defend this dude. He's probably a Hollywood liberal. Almost unquestionable that he's a Hollywood liberal. Okay, but by the way, I also personally, I don't agree with him.
Yeah,
actually. And again, ladies, I'm not trying to stick up for you. I'm just telling you how I actually feel without any input whatsoever. I don't think that there's ever a reason to slap a person unless it's self-defense.
You know what Bill Burr says? There is always a reason, you just don't do it.
No, what I mean is, what he meant to say was that, why would you want to slap a person? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying that you don't do it unless, and that applies for men too. You can't slap a man unless it's the same thing. You know what I mean? Unless it's self-defense. I mean, you don't put your hands on someone, because you don't like what they're saying. You can leave. So I do not agree with Sean there.
Yeah.
Or unless it's like that situation in the movie Airplane, remember, where the lady was getting hysterical and everybody lined up to slap the shit out of her, calm down. Then you see what that scene, right? The whole plane lined up to slap her.
Yeah. It's funny.
Okay.
Anyways.
Yeah, man. So last thing I want to say, I think that we gotta rename our episodes and then repost them.
Oh my god!
No, because I think we could do better with the naming of the episodes.
Yeah, we could. You're talking about the earlier ones.
The ones the recent ones, the earlier ones, all of them. We could just choose better keywords and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then make more clips. Really, what I'm saying is, Greg, can you please make more clips?
Yes.
Because I don't have time.
We'll make a clip out of this one. I will for sure make a clip out of this one with the relationship stuff in the From World.
Yeah,
you can bet bottom shekel.
Which episode was the Shekhinah clip from? I can't find it.
I'll look for it. I'll find it. I'll find it.
All right, then.
All right, sir. It's been real.
Viva Cuba Libre. Vaya con Dios.
Yes.
And that's what Keanu Reeves' character said to Patrick Swayze when he went to surf the big wave. Vaya con Dios.
Vaya con Dios. Whoa. They've gone too far.
They've gone too
far. They know too much.
They know too much.
Now the UN's got to do a PSYOP. Whoa.
Oh, man.
It's not a conspiracy. Said the people who conspired. Whoa.
The Bears.
The Bears. Anyway.
All right, then. Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
Au revoir.
Later.
Ciao, ciao.